Hello and welcome, everybody, to A Tale of D20 presents Magpie Madness. And
Mm.
it is my pleasure and joy to bring you this sponsored segment today. I am Xendarik, your host and resident wizard here at A Tale of D20s. Enchanting to meet you all. And I have two fantastic guests with me today. I have a lovely Divergent Dryad and our A Tale of D20's very own Tail Weaver himself. Thank you both for being here. But before we jump in and I let you introduce yourselves, I have a few announcements to get to. So today, I'm happy to say, as I mentioned, say that we are sponsored by Magpie Games. So we are going to be giving away, not in this stream, next Friday, but you can enter in a chance to win in our Magpie giveaway. Enter Magpie Madness into the chat, two separate words, Magpie space Madness, and you will be entered in a chance to win one of the core rule books like masks, like Aphelion, like Root, and a bunch of the other ones. We will get your information, but please enter in that. Next, we are playing and rolling today for a noble cause. We are so happy to be partnering and working towards raising funds for the Trevor Project this year. So it's a truly incredible organization. It's dedicating to helping and supporting LGBT plus youth, and every donation counts. And we had one just before we opened the stream. So Vadina, if I said it right, please correct me. Thank you so much for your $50 donation. We thank you. That is so wonderful. You've brought us over the halfway point. We are now at $510 towards our $1,000 goal. So you pushed us over the edge. Thank you. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. We really appreciate you. Every dollar counts and it goes to a wonderful cause. If you can't donate, please post and share with others. Post the link. Our Nightbot in chat will also be um, posting links as well. Oh, thank you. Oh, so Marie, you're bringing wonderful people to the channel. Thank you so much. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Um, So, my fellow wizards, witches, wolves, and fairies, we have more magic to come. So, before we dive in, let me stop chatting for a second and pass it over to these wonderful folks and give them a chance to introduce themselves before we dive into our urban shadows today. So, let's start with you, Marie.
Hi, that's me. So I'm Marie, Divergent underscore Dryad on Discord and Twitch and anywhere else that I've managed to get that name. I run a little TTRPG server on Discord called Misfit Manor. It's focused on accessibility and inclusivity in gaming, and that's it. Back to you.
Awesome. That's so wonderful. Thank you for joining us today. And I'll pass it over to A Tale of D20's very own Tailweaver himself.
Hey, y'all. Tail Weaver here, aka Omar. And of course, you can always find me here at a Tail D20s running a few shows and playing in a few others as well. And I'm so excited to continue this Magpie Madness playing in there as yet again I bring you some cosplay for a fantastic character that you'll be seeing shortly.
I am so excited and cannot wait to see what the two of you get into today. So, as we mentioned, we are playing Urban Shadows today. Urban Shadows is a modern uh, crime noir sort of fantasy. It is set in 2024. So our players have cell phones, our players have janky cars, have a gun and or a knife. So you can expect some saucy, sassy fun happening in New York City. So we are placing our world in New York City, so it is a very familiar place. But for the sake of ease and brevity, we're going to break our locations into districts and broader locations. So we're going to say uptown when we're referring to uptown stuff. We'll say midtown or Central Park for the middle of Manhattan, and downtown and low for the lower half. So that way we don't have to worry about nitpicky locations. We can sort of conceptualize this together. But we also um, have to go over a few more things as we build our characters today. So you can see on the screen here, we have this wonderful character keeper created by Manic Pixie Rec and updated by Diana Moon. And today have some things or we have used this sheet to sort of help us through it. So we're going to dive into some of our safety tools and some of the things that enable us to play this game and do a sort of session zero and begin building our world. And that will sort of then we'll take a quick break and then we'll sort of morph into our characters. So before we get to meet who we are playing today, let's talk about some of our safety tools. So I'm going to flip us over to that tab. And here we have our lines and veils, as well as our romance chart and some other concepts we're going to talk about today. So we have our 4 columns here: lines, veils, ask for first, and interested. A line is a hard no. And you can see here some of our players have already lined off some concepts. And this means that we're not comfortable playing with this at all. It will not show up in our game. It will not show up in the NPCs. And if someone strays into it by accident, we will stop and cut that out and move past it. We don't want to view or enjoy it. We don't want to view that. It doesn't add complexity or enjoyment to our games. So these have been cut out for our players. Veils are things that are saucy, but you have to be careful. You want to touch them tastefully because they can add a very hint of drama, or these concepts can add some additional um, complexity to the game, but you want to do it in a way that makes sure that the players at the table are comfortable. Veils are ones where you sort of gloss over it. You fade to black. You bring the idea up, but then let the players and the audience's imagination sort of fill in the rest of it. Ask first is the lightest of the 3. This is, I'd want to have a quick conversation about it. I want to, oh, sorry. We have some excited players here. Ask first is bring it up at the table. Let's have a quick discussion about it. Let's say, maybe there's a small piece of a concept that you don't want to really go into, but generally the concept you're okay with. So ask first is like, let's just chat about it as a group to make sure we're all comfortable. And interested is, I like this. I, kind of want to play through this. It might not necessarily come up in a game, but it's just signaling to the players like, hey, I feel like this would be good in this session or in this campaign, and I'd like to see it. So yeah, those are what our lines, veils, and asks first are. So this is a living document, as you can see I've written there, which means our players are welcome to edit this at any point, and we can change how we feel because sometimes scenes make us feel heavy feelings, and we don't want to feel those feelings, or maybe we love them and do want to, so we want to let others know, so we can come in here and check something off. So in this campaign so far, our lines are: no harm to animals, no harm to children, no racism, no sexual assault, no suicide, and no homophobia. Those things do not happen in our game, and we will not be walking through that or seeing any scenes where that happens. We have veils on general sexual content and veils on spider, and that's it. So we will keep those things at a minimum. And if ever our players here have any additional feelings, or if something I feel doesn't feel right, we'll come in here and update that and adjust. So we wanted to show you that this list also can be modified here. We have a whole bunch of basic ones that were provided to us. And things like this one, I just want to point out, I think are interesting, like characters named Louis or Louise. And you can modify or change this because, maybe you're playing a passions game and you don't want to have a romance with someone that's your sibling or your parents. So you want to just cut out a name. So it can be like these are valid in multiple ways, not just, extreme situations and stuff. And you see that there's a long list, so we can add as many as we need. Another thing that I mentioned is a romance table. So I really like this because it just sort of sets the vibe for everyone. It doesn't necessarily mean romances will happen. It just says, hey, if it does come up, it feels natural. I want to go with it. I want to run with it. Or I don't know. Let's talk about it out of character first as the maybe, or like, nope, let's skip over it. And so you are given that option to sort of share at the table, like, hey, I'm okay with it or not. And here you can see our players have said yes, they're okay with romancing player characters if it feels appropriate. And we also have yes with romancing NPCs with the fade to black if something gets saucy. So we maybe might happen, but this is more likely to happen in like a passions game, but you never know. And I feel like it's just a quick and easy thing to fill out to sort of let everyone know how you feel. Underneath that, you see I do have some other tools that I've stolen from other games that I, as a GM, love to include. So, number 3 on our tools list is an open table policy. That means you can leave the game at any point. If you are not feeling it, if you're unhappy, if you're sick, if you're something, life happens, something comes up, you can step away. I just ask that you pause your camera, step away. If you are not going to come back, please shoot me a message so we can continue or cut that off. But we don't want, we're here to have fun. So it's just another easy way to say, you know, let's, no hard feelings. We all sometimes just need to step away. And you also are adults here. If you need to step away to use the restroom or need to grab a drink or take care of your dogs, feel free. And yeah, we'll adjust. We're improvers. That's the whole point. The next one is the X card or the X gesture. So if sometimes we're in the moment and we're just trying to role play, and maybe we're approaching one of our lines or veils, or someone says something that's just a little bit too, ooh, I don't really like it, or something's icky, you can just be like, X card with a gesture on screen. And that means we will pause, we'll stop, we'll be like, hey, okay, X carded, we're not okay with what's happening. We're not going to dig into it. We don't need to understand all justifications or validations. We just know that something has been struck a chord. So we're going to say, hey, we're going to move on. We might ask for clarity of what, was this it? Just so that way we don't touch it again. And then we will proceed and move past that. So feel free to use that, players, at any time if something comes up and just doesn't feel right. And then last but not least, I love the remote control. So I wish that all GMs would include this in their tools. Just like a remote control when you're watching, Netflix, Disney Plus, your favorite show, you can rewind, fast forward, and pause. So pause is, hey, I just need a quick pause. You just a shout out out of character. Can we pause? I need a clarity on what's happening. Like I, the person, don't get what's happening. So can you just, uh, you know, rehash or sort of paint the picture again for me? Rewind is a scene past, or maybe a scene just wrapped up, or maybe the previous scene finished, and you're thinking about it, and you're like, I can we rewind to that? I really don't like what my character said or did, or I want to redo uh what happened because I really don't. I'm not satisfied with that. You can just quickly jump back and then repaint. Paint over the fiction and re-go through that situation. And I will honestly say that this has happened to me as a player, and it might feel weird in the moment, but it really is good to just say, like, hey, I, as the person, didn't mean to say, my character wouldn't say that. I said it. can we jump back and just paint that? And that actually happened in a previous game where Omar was GMing, and it made me feel so much better to have what my character would have said instead of me, the person. So use that if you feel like, I just got ahead of myself in the moment. And fast forward is like, let's roll through this. Like, I don't need to, stand in the kitchen and make food and talk about a recipe. Like, let's get to the drama. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to, drive down the freeway and talk about XYZ. Like, let's just get to the destination. Let's just, let's just jump forward. So those are all of the tools that I have. I'm going to pause here to see if my players have any questions, comments, or would like to add anything to what I've said so far.
No, that's very clear. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you both for filling out this sheet and letting us know where we stand. Yeah, so I think that this will take us to the next bit. So we're going to jump into our character creation now and get to see who we're playing and playing tonight. So I'll jump over to this character creation page so you can sort of see the steps. We're going to go through all of this together. But before we do that, let's get a quick little snippet before I showcase the character sheets. So, um, who would like to go first? Let's hear your character's name, your playbook, and a little bit about you.
Hmm.
Do you want to go first?
I did go after you.
Me? Okay, I'll jump in. Okay. All right. So today I will be playing Delaney Stormfang, she they. I am playing the Wolf playbook, and uh, Delaney. What can we say? I think in a sentence, Delaney is very strong, very tough, and very powerful, but doesn't have the best handle on their emotions. And sometimes when they're very stressed or angry or emotionally activated, they sort of lose control, and that triggers some of their transformations.
Ooh, I can't wait to see that. Okay.
Yeah, because
And
nothing is going to trigger my emotions, right?
yeah, I don't know what, what
Yeah,
what could possibly happen.
no, not at all.
And next we have
Oh, it's great to meet you all. You can call me Phaedra, the fairy. Uh, Phaedrin, the fairy. If you're looking for a good time, or if you just want to revel in the moment, well, I can put you through something smooth, something kind, something juicy, and I can sing you a little song. I'm sure you've caught my last couple albums. I was going through some things, but I think I've gotten it all together again. And I hear some magic's in the air, so let's put the hocus to the pocus and make some of that. Back to you.
Ooh. Oh
Ooh.
my goodness. That is steamy. Well, I love that. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is jump over into our character keepers. We'll go down with to the wolf. So we'll get to meet Delaney first. So as we are going through this, we also get to pick some moves, and we also have some intro questions to get into, and we will build some relationships as well. So before we jump into our intro questions, let's see what moves have you chosen today to do.
All right. So Delaney. So of course, one of my given moves comes with the territory. It's very important to my pack to keep the streets safe. make sure that our territory is not encroached upon. So I'm always out on patrol, all that. So that comes with the territory. I also chose Alpha Dog. When I persuade an NPC in my territory, I can use threats or promises, and for that I can roll with blood instead of heart. So kind of having that force behind instead of a softer touch. Dell doesn't really have a softer touch. And then I also chose Bloodhound. When I hunt someone down, I roll with blood and know exactly where to find them. And if I get lucky, they'll also be vulnerable when I find them.
Ooh,
So those were my moves.
that is so awesome. So you have, as a part of your territory, you said you've chosen two things. So let's dive into that a little bit. It says you've claimed an area of the city as your own. By default, your territory covers a city block or two and has some trouble and crime. So, what were the two options that you've chosen? And let's dive into that a little.
All right, so I went with people in my territory work hard to keep the streets safe, so remove crime.
Ooh,
And
okay.
and then I kind of went back and forth. It was hard to choose, but I ended up choosing your territory includes open grounds for you to roam and hunt. Add blessing sanctuary. And I chose that because I think Dell needs a place to let off some steam to keep from just bubbling up and raging out constantly. So I needed to make sure that there was a safe space where I could hunt and roam that's sort of in a controlled environment.
Okay. Do you think that your hunt and controlled environment would be potentially in Central Park, in the Midtown area,
Maybe that it
or
could be.
or maybe pushing into it a little bit?
I think
Or what were you thinking?
I'll leave it to you in terms of where it's located, but I think what I would say is Dell probably tries to find a place to hunt that either she's take kind of vigilante like vibe, a little either
Okay.
I'm taking like bad stuff off the street, or if there was I don't know really what else would be there that I'd be able to hunt because I don't think I'm hunting like innocent people. So
No, no, of course not. So we'll say because your territory in this aspect is like a city block or two. That's like where your Wolfgang calls home. So we're gonna say it's in the midtown of our three locations. We'll say it's near Central Park. So sometimes you hunt people through the actual buildings and throughout the whole city wherever you find it or need it, or if your wolf pack is endangered. But you also know that sometimes there's predators that stalk the woods. It's generally Fey land. The Central Park is, Fey territory, but you've made a few Fey deals and have a few Fey friends. So your territory is expanding. So you can actually, like, get a little bit of, your, fingernails in the dirt and go, like, really wolf out if you want to, we'll
awesome.
say.
Cool.
Underneath that, we have two more aspects of your territory. Could you please let's expand into them as well?
So I chose some kind of spicy ones. The first one, your territory owes fealty to someone more powerful than you. Add trouble obligations. I assume I assumed that that's sort of the leader of my pack who took me in under his wing and sort of like has a really firm set of ideals, more like honor bound, and I feel like I have that obligation to behave in a certain way in order to stay within the pack.
Yeah, who's that leader?
I didn't come up with a name. I'm very bad at that.
It's,
But
it's okay. Let's come up with a name
um
together.
his
Phaedrian, if you have an
last
idea, throw out too.
name
Hmm.
I'll say that so the pack is called the Steel Claw Order. His last name is Steel Claw.
Okay.
So I imagine him being really like strong and old and wizened, but also like he's mastered control over like his emotions and like controls the wolf within, which is what he's trying to teach me. So I'm thinking of some kind of name to go with the steel claw.
Klaus Steelclaw.
Ooh, I like that. Klaus is good.
Okay. Let's put Klaus Steelclaw, and if we feel like we like something better, we can always change it. We
I
know
hope
that
it's like the
he
name
is
Klaus. It seems
right.
Feels wolfy.
yeah.
Feels wolfy, and Klaus is part of night, and he is a werewolf.
Mhm.
We'll give him status 2. Awesome.
The other
So
one I picked is the spicier one. I went with, I just scrolled up and I lost it. Your territory is plagued by a mystical or supernatural presence. Add haunted.
ooh, perfect. So maybe these are the ghosts that you hunt. These are
Nice.
the
Yeah.
specters that bother and enrage you and your pack, because you've heard of other werewolves. They can control themselves. They have a more like natural way, like ability of restraint, and for some reason you and all of those in your circle or pact are so agitated so easily. So let's build on that rage and say that, yeah, there's maybe specters of some unknown reason haunt your space and your lives.
And that kind of ties into my transformation weaknesses. So we'll maybe touch on that. I don't know if we're touching on that just
Yeah,
yet.
let's keep going. Let's dig into how you transform,
Okay.
and some of the quality, or let's go into the qualities you've chosen, and then the weaknesses after.
All right. Okay. So should we read the thing, the transformation?
Yeah, so by default you can change into your wolf form at will. In the sight of the moon, you will gain um oh, in the sight of the moon. So you have to be under the moonlight in some capacity, even if it's a crescent, as long as there's some. Um You will gain natural weaponry, 2 harm, 1 armor, and all of the qualities and weaknesses you've chosen below. So let's go through it.
So I chose you are massive, gain +1 armor and +1 harm. Uh,
Ooh,
so yeah, Dell is already in human form, is already super
like
muscular, like
tanky.
abs for days,
Ooh,
just
okay.
abs for days. Truly cut. So they're already beefy. And then when they transform, they just are massive. Um, Also versatile, +1 ongoing to letting it out. So when
Ooh,
we go into like what let it out means, that'll make sense. I thought that that really went well narratively with being sort of uncontrolled and like full of rage.
absolutely. And we can quickly jump over to that. So let it
Yeah.
out. Letting it out is basically activating your abilities. Letting it out is showcasing and like giving into your, non-mundane
Primal.
powers, your primal powers. Each of our characters, and you as the main character in the story, are supernatural to some degrees, or very supernatural. So letting it out, you have ways of doing it. So you don't have to read them now, but that lets you ensure that you have higher success rate of your when you're doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do, so that's something that you actually have to roll for, which is cool. And then am I correct in understanding that all of the let it out abilities, like you're getting that extra push, but it comes at a cost, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So when you do your let it out, if you, in Magpie games and in PBTA games, 6 and below, you roll 2d12 and then add any modifiers. So 6 and below is what's a miss. Generally, you don't achieve what you're trying to do, or you do, but at some great consequence. 7 to 9 is considered a hit. You do actually activate whatever ability you're trying to do, but also mark a corruption, and you have a cost, or it's limited, or it's slightly unstable. But on a 10 plus, you can choose to ignore the corruption, ignore the complications, your choice. So the higher you roll on your let it out, you get a benefit. So
Yeah.
in this case, you have another +1 to doing the better of the option and potentially not getting an additional corruption or complication.
Yeah, for sure. And just want to clear, this is a story time or mechanics cleanup moment. 2d6, right? Not
Yeah.
2d12. Okay.
Oh, did I say 12? Yeah, sorry,
Yeah, but I
2d6.
mean, I was translating it to the result, which is a max of 12. But for anyone watching, I wanted to make sure. Yeah, it's a
Oh, thank you.
2d6. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, sorry, thank you for that.
Cool. Yeah,
Yes,
it's all good.
2d6s. You stand a dice. Yeah, and now let's go on to your weaknesses.
Yes, yes. And the last strength that I picked was you are
Oh, sorry.
savage. So it's exactly what it sounds like. It's savage. Your harm is armor piercing and messy.
Ooh.
So when I lose control, watch out. Um,
Oh, I
mhm.
love that. I love that.
All right.
Ooh.
So yeah, I was like, go figure, go home. Let's play with this. So the weaknesses, this is where it gets spicy because sometimes I lose control while transformed. And I imagine mechanically speaking, that's something that you, the MC, will be able to call for a roll if needed.
Correct.
And then sometimes you transform when you're stressed or angry. So yeah, again, like having that playing on that emotional instability, that internal struggle. And the last one is what ties into the territory, or at least my fear that it ties into the
Ooh.
territory. Transformation draws the attention of supernatural creatures.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, no,
I-
those are some awesome weaknesses.
And I think Dell believes that it's her fault, that
Yeah.
the territory is. That may or may not be true, but I try to write my backstories in like from the perspective of the character, what
Do you
I
want
think is true.
do you so you're open for it being either way, and
Yeah,
you want sort of like me and the story to tell that, or okay.
yeah. You
I
get to
am
play however you want to play. I just gave you little seeds. You
I
can plant them
love
where you
it.
want.
Yeah, I will plant those seeds and twist those daggers all the
Yep.
time. I love it. Yeah, and that absolutely makes sense. That makes your transformation. So when it is time for you to transform, I'm going to ask that you be extra for me. Put on your theatrical
Oh
hat
yeah.
and go above and beyond. So please feel free to indulge us when you describe that later.
Great.
I believe we will then now. Oh, and for the sake of this game, because we have our two characters here, we're only doing a small one shot. I'm giving them as the GM or MC, I should update that, a little boost to sort of give them a little more oomph and power. So they're starting with a corruption move already. And would you like to read your corruption move?
Yeah. All right, so I just went with Force of Nature. You get +1 to blood, max of 4. Whenever you roll with blood and roll a 12 or higher, mark corruption,
Ooh, Marka
which
corrupt.
I really like because this means that I have a 3 in blood. So rolling 2d6, if I ever roll a 9 or higher, mark corruption.
Yeah. Yep. So you might be quickly going down that
Hmm.
corruption track, but then you also get
Oh, yeah.
lots of cool new abilities and lots of cool new stuff. So
Hmm.
I'm about that swing. So
Yeah.
can't wait to see where it goes.
Big swings. Let's go.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for introducing us to Delaney Stormfang. And now let's meet Phaedrian. Oh, wait a minute. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. I'm skipped over it. The whole point was to introduce your character and then also let's ask your introduction questions. Let's jump down
Oh,
here.
yeah. Okay.
So when did you first experience the change?
Oh, it's such a sad story. Um, Gosh, I'm trying to decide. I've been narrating as me, and I'm like, should I get into Dell? I think maybe I should. All right.
Yeah, you're
So
please take it
I
away.
think I'll do that. I've been just narrating as myself, but yeah. So the first change was the night my older sister died. I came to her art show late, as always, and we got in a fight. as always. So I stormed out and I was in the alley. Um, I was in the alley when I heard the screams. Ran inside and found a bloody mess and a vampire draining my sister's body. The last thing I remember is a white hot, blinding rage and bones breaking and power.
Oof, that is heartbreaking. What was your sister's name?
Delilah.
Delilah. Oh, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And how long have you been in the city?
About 5 years now. It's the longest I've stayed in any one place since the first transformation. Been moving around a lot.
How old are you? If you've been moving around a lot,
Probably let's see what makes sense, like 28, 29 or something.
30 or 20 years old.
I'm
Okay.
like 28, 29, 30 years
20
old. I
to
don't know.
23 years old. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's just say like
Love
29.
it. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So if you've traveled around, you might have had like a rough youth, you say. Okay.
It
Uh,
hasn't been the easiest, no.
hasn't been the easiest. Okay. What's the best part of your other form?
Um, the strength and the bravery to protect the people and the places that I care about. While I'm transformed, I'm fearless. Not even my own familiar, intrusive thoughts find purchase to shake my resolve.
Something just so powerful about being the wolf. When you are savage and strong, nothing can hurt you because you're massive and vicious.
That's
Love
the
that.
armor.
That's the armor. So you are this savage beast, but you need something. What do you desperately need?
I've learned that I need to control my emotions. I don't know how, but I have to, so I can stop living in fear of harming everyone who gets close to me. I mean, I just can't keep losing control. I've I'm a danger to everybody.
Oof, maybe even a danger to yourself sometimes.
I mean, that's what they tell me.
Well, thank you so much, Delaney. It was a pleasure meeting you. We will get into our relationships with our NPCs and our debts after we introduce our Fae. So let's now move over to Phaedrian. Phaedrian, tell us a little bit about you, the moves you've taken, and maybe a bit about your court.
Well, certainly. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. First of all, it's Phaedrian, as I said before. You may have heard me from many hits, such as The Fairy Road or Dust from the Fae. Of course, in my number one hit called I Will Lick You From Your Head to Your Toes and Make You Begging for More.
One of my favorites.
So you get it, I'm a little sensual. I've let the city know exactly where they truly want that carnal pleasure. And my moves reflect exactly how I feel. I'm have fairy magic. And one of my spells is called Draw Back the Curtain. When I escape a situation, sometimes my fans can be a little bit too, let's say, boundaryless. But I can easily escape and go right back to the fairy world. Did I mention that I serve the summer court?
Oh, you didn't? That's super important. I believe Queen Titania is the current matriarch of the and sovereign of the Fae, Summer Fae.
Yes, she is. Praise Queen Titania.
Praise Queen Titania.
Mm.
What other moves do you have?
Well, I also have In Our Blood. Whenever I try to use my little fey trickery, maybe my own charisma, people can't keep their hands off of me. I, and especially and when I do this with someone from a different circle, through lies and omission of clever misdirection, if you want to call it lies, I roll with heart, which is what I'm most powerful with, instead of mind, which eh, who needs to study when you look like this?
Well, certainly true. You are captivating in vision and audio. You are a sight and sound to be behold. And what is our last move?
The last move I have is called a dish best served now. Now, deals are deals, secrets are secrets. But when you spread them and you make one with a fae, you must uphold it. If you don't, or if you wrong someone of mine or me or my kin, well, I can get +1 ongoing against you. That means that I'm gonna find you and you're not gonna like it. Well, maybe for the first part, but trust me, not in the end. And for every scene in which you do not pursue my vengeance, suffer 1 harm.
Um, that's you. If you
Oh,
don't
I
go,
suffer 1 harm. That's fine.
if you don't go chase down those who've wronged you, you suffer harm. So you are compelled to go and get those wrongdoers, those people that have decided to besmirch you or your lovely summer queen. But that is a biting set of skills indeed. Our Fae is tricksy, and you should be careful not to cross them. So one of the awesome things with your fairy magic, as you said, is you have access to these gifts of your court and these powers you can call upon. Um, and you get to choose 3 of those powers. When you use those powers, you have to either suffer a little bit of harm, mark a corruption yourself, or give a debt to your monarch for using her realm's majesty. Um, so when you activate your magic, what are the 3 powers you're going to choose from?
So I chose Wither, Glamours, and Bedlam. Wither, you start off, I can imbue someone who I've touched with death. Yes, death. 3 harm. This effect is instantly understood by the target as a threat, as it should be, and leaves a nasty scar. Because I always leave my mark.
Right.
On
A 3 harm on most people would be instant death. Only other supernaturals will be able to withstand that. And even then, it is going to be, as you said, severe and scarring.
And don't worry, don't worry. If I like you, or if you do me nice, or nasty, I may be able to make you feel a little bit better while you are imbued with Wither, with my glamours. Can create illusion to fool your senses, make you think you're just having the best time of your life as you fall into an eternal slumber. Also, may or not me use it during my live shows, but let me tell you, it's all natural, no auto tune. I can't disguise or conceal myself with these tricks, though. But why would I? I'm fabulous, baby.
You just use them to enhance what's already there.
Yeah, just like little pick me up here, a little glitter here. I'm
And
only
these
150.
glamours are real enough to fool the senses. They don't last that long, but they definitely are compelling.
And lastly, my bedlam. You can touch a vulnerable target to place them in a specific emotional state. I would only to help with consent, of course. Though if you're hurting my friends, well, it's life or death. I mark a corruption though, because this is pushing boundaries. Uh, and they have the emotion of my choosing. So I don't use this very much. I don't like to, but push comes to shove. If all of this is not enough, well, a fairy will do what a fairy does.
Oh, wow. Best be careful. Don't touch them. You know how your pop stars feel about being touched. You might get a little bit more than you asked for if you touch your gorgeous Phaedrian here. He'll put you in a stupa. All right. So now let's hear a little bit about your court. So you said that your court is part of the summer court. Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, they're very formal. That could be a little stuffy even for me. Always with the formalities and but what I do love is the beauty. To be a phase, the grace, and to serve the summer queen in all of her grace and beauty, well, I can only hope to match her grace. Though I'm close.
Careful. Your monarch, whom you have sworn loyalty, holds 2 debt over you. And you will tell me what favors they granted you to earn such holdings. So let me know if you have. You can take a moment to think of that, or if you know, please feel free.
Oh. I mean, not just any Fae is allowed to just walk out and become one of the best pop stars this side of East Town. We got rules, we have regulations. But I may have impressed my queen, and for that freedom to just be my colorful self, I am, well, people would say errand boy, but that's so disgusting. I am her confidant. She needs something, and I will get it for her. She speaks directly to me, for better or for worse.
Oh, so you have a direct ear to the Queen Titania.
Mhm.
So they have, with great power comes great responsibility. So you are favored, but also tasked with lots of things to do, especially with the upcoming event.
Yes.
Let's continue. So your monarch is represented by something. What does Queen Titania, what's her symbol?
A seat of power. She has true command over all the Fae that she can summon the entire court at her whim.
So when she is presented a throne of proper grace and majesty, she can claim dominion of it and call her court magically to her. Fantastic. Impressive for such a strong queen. And it makes sense. She's been holding reign over Central Park and as well as the Fae for several centuries now. And this is the 4th time that the ritual will be consecrated under her watch. So she is very capable and used to being in control. You also have a rival in this court. Let's hear about them a little bit. Who's your rival?
There's just other Fae thinks that they're better than me, think that they are just because they taught me what to do. They taught me how to dip, dive, duck, dip, and slash, kiki, wapow, everything I knew. But I overtook them very easily. You may call it my Fae mother. I owe
Do
them
you
a
have her
debt.
name?
Their name, non-binary.
Oh, their name?
Mhm.
Or are they known as the Fae Mother?
No, that's what
To
they are
you.
to me.
Sure.
But I've left that family and went to do my own things with Queen Titania, herself. Um,
We can come back to it if you have that later.
I'll come back for a moment. I'll think of a nice name for her.
So you owe them a debt for teaching you how to dip dow, bing blang shablam, and
Hmm.
kiki all the way through. So, um, they taught you everything you know, and you've really grown and ran with it. So that is quite the picture. You two also have an additional corruption move. Would you please read that out?
So, in what I truly, the reward I got for uh, serving my queen was just an earthly beauty and grace. What no one knows is that this may not be I wouldn't say a facade, but this beauty, this glow, all this power from my voice all comes from the deal that I made with Queen Titania, and I chose that kind of corrupts me, and that's my unearthly grace. I get +1 heart, and when I roll with heart, I roll a 12 plus mark corruption. When I So if I
Ooh,
get that 12 plus, I will mark corruption because I'm just using that false beauty, the power of the queen. But no one knows
absolutely,
this.
absolutely. All right. So then let's now jump into some of your intro questions and learn a little bit about who and where and why you came from. So, why did Phaedrian leave your homeland? Why are you in Manhattan or in New York City?
I need to get out. You would think with the beauty of the Fae that it would just be boundless entertainment, but I got bored. I wanted to shine. I had 273 brothers and sisters. Can you imagine trying to step out into the limelight in that whole entire family? No. So I found my way out. I made my deals and ripped through the portal, ending up right in Central Park. And there I was gonna make my way into something. I will shine, and people will notice me.
So you were making your way downtown. Okay, yeah. So I mean, it must be difficult trying to be as fabulous as you are with 273 competitors, all trying to upstage and catch the ear of the noble courts in the Fey realm, and that seems to make sense. That's why you've gotten so close to Titania, and maybe those deals you've made really did free you from some of the monotony of the Fey realm. How long have you been here? How long have you been in the city and trying to get get that dream?
I've lived through I've been here for 2024. Let me do my math. About 100 Earth years or
Ah,
Mortalis years.
oh wow.
So I've been always transforming myself. Every time a new genre comes out, I just evolve as an artist.
Oh
So
really?
mhm.
Do you so whom for the audience, whom might Phaedrian have been 50 years ago? Was she part of like Gem and the Holograms? Was she
Like 50 years ago, was that the 1950s? She was part of this, definitely like
50
a
years
rock
ago was the 80s?
80s. Oh my goodness, it is, isn't
You're showing the audience your age.
I was over here like, wait, do I not know what time period we're playing in?
Oh
No,
great! Oh
no.
no, that's right.
Are we in the 2000s right now?
No, we are definitely all right. The 80s.
Amazing.
Um,
So funny.
so yeah, definitely a glam rock band.
Your hair teased and
Mhm,
sprayed with part of one of those glam rock bands. Okay. So
definitely.
funny. Okay, so what do you love? If you've been here for quite a long time, you've sort of have long history, long knowledge of the city and sort of being so pop stars. That's why you're so comfortable in yourself and so freeing now. So, what do you love most about humanity?
I love how free they are. They're not bound by rules and deals. I mean, they are technically with their law system and everything there, but it just seems like they're more free, more ignorant, I guess. And I don't know, ignorant is bliss. And I would love to live in just perpetual just bliss all the time.
Oh, would you now?
It's like my latest song, Bliss on a Rose.
Bliss on a rose. I thought you were going to say bliss all the time.
Oh,
Awesome.
I'm dead
So,
now. I'm
I
dead.
um, do you take? I'm gonna a quick question I want to add. Do you take any additional? Like, do you like taking debts with the humans and binding them because? Like you said, they're free of their rules and regulations, and you seem to be free of it, but having debts is owed to you is quite powerful. Is Phaedrian interested in that a little bit, or have they left that Fey court contracting technicality speak behind?
I mean, you can take the Fae out of the court, but not the court out of the Fae, as they say. Sometimes when you just need a gig, or you just Rihanna shows up and decides to take over and put you as second fiddle, maybe you got to make a deal or two of all I'm saying, so you can make sure you say that headliner. Sorry, Riri, I just had to make mine.
Oh, understood. Okay, so like you said, I like that. You can take the Fae out of the court, but you can't take the court out of the Fae. So who is your closest confidant or lover currently? Since you've been here for a while, I'm sure you've had a few, but who has your ear, your heart right now?
Daniel Thompson.
Oh, and who is Daniel Thompson?
Daniel's a indie artist, kind of always in his feels, but something about him, something about his guitar and the way he strums it.
Is he mundane?
He is mundane.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't sound like he's mundane.
I mean,
Oh,
not where it counts.
ooh, girl. Say less. Ooh, I love that. Okay. And how long have you and Daniel Thompson been a thing? I know you might not want to put labels on it, but could we put a label? Like, are we a thing?
I mean, he may think we're a thing. Maybe secretly I think a thing, but have I said we were a thing? I mean,
How many Mortalis years, as you put it, have you been with this person?
5 Mortalis. No, 2 Mortalis years.
2 Mortalis years. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
2 years, not a thing, but he thinks you're a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're a thing. Cool. Okay. What do you obviously tell him, that you're a superstar and a pop star. He knows nothing about your...
He doesn't know about me being a Fae. He doesn't even know that the magic, the non-mundane exists.
The non-mundane exists. Okay. And in this moment, you desperately need something. You're dying to have someone's attention, an object, maybe a piece of property. You need something right now. What do you desperately need?
There's this new competition or a gathering of the artists. Heard everyone's going to be there. I need to get in, and I haven't received an invitation. If I don't perform at the let's say the Stardust extravaganza, then I'm ruined, and I might as well just go back to the Fae as a failure. So serving Queen Titania and getting this ritual going helps my odds. Make some favors, then I'll do whatever I can.
Fantastic. Interesting. All right. I love that. So, one of the things that I forgot to do, so we'll do right now, is Delaney, do you have any questions for Phaedrian now that you've heard a little bit of his backstory or any additional information? Um, and this also can be you as you, Delaney, or also you, um, Marie, who's saying like what a little bit more about your character. So then, and then we will do the opposite. Omar, we can jump back and ask
Mhm.
Marie about,
About Delaney. Um,
yeah.
I think the only things is I know we still need to kind of work out what our debts specifically are. I think those are the only lingering questions.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
we're gonna next we're gonna
yeah,
do our deck questions and relationships.
yeah,
But just it's one of those. Just want to give the opportunity as we were talking
yeah.
through our openings. If there's anything else outside of these intro questions, or if you want to extrapolate on the intro questions that maybe you want to know a
Ooh.
little bit more about.
I will ask this. How often or how close do you think Phaedrian and Dell have been? Like, how well do we know each other?
I feel that we would know each other very well. I like to hang out with the werewolves, and you're fascinating. And I'm just trying to get you to loosen up. I feel you have so much edge to you, and like there's so much love in you. And I just need to get you out, get a drink or two, show you what life is living for. And that's like
Ooh,
my goal is to like I see, and I'm just like I'm gonna kind of like Elphaba and Glinda from Wicked before when they were friends at the beginning. She's just like, I just wanted to make you popular and hang you and all that, and then like,
I love that so much. I really dig that. I think like it makes so much sense because Dell is constantly holding so tight, trying not to lose it, and you're trying to like loosen them up a little bit.
mhm.
And I imagine we've probably had nights where we like go out or whatever, and you're like, just have a drink, just and I'm so careful about how much I drink. Like I don't want to overdo it. I think that's in my past. I think I've had times where I self-medicated and numbed the pain. And I'm trying not to do that because I realized like I didn't have control over myself and that was only making it worse. But I love that there's like that back and forth. I think that's really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Omar, do you have any questions about Delaney from the intro that we went over?
Yes, I may have one uh, inquiry. Delaney, what would be her biggest fear, or something that just is like a trigger point for her?
Oof. Yeah, honestly, I think
Would it be like vampire fangs?
I don't think so. I
No.
think Delaney's biggest fear, she doesn't remember the night that Delilah was killed. And there's been a couple things that have been making her question whether she did die or not. Because I blacked out. I don't remember. And I think that my greatest fear, like truly her deepest fear, and I don't know that she would have shared this with Adrian, but just above table,
Mhm.
is that she was responsible for killing her sister.
Oh.
That maybe she blacked out and just went on a rampage, whether it was the vampires or her, whatever, she does not know. And I think that is more terrifying.
The thought of not knowing for sure. Like there's the bite marks there, but she's also ravaged a little
Yeah.
when you like came to and like found the
Yeah.
bodies and everything.
And I
All
think
right.
Delaney has, like, she has a dark past of times where she lost control and murdered innocent people and has to live with that. So I think it's a constant fear that if she ever gets close to anyone, it'll be her fault when they die.
Yeah, that's heavy. All right. Any other questions, Omar, that you have, or is that
No, that answers my
interesting?
question.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so one of the other things that we'll just quickly run over to, I should have mentioned before we get into the relationships and the little bit of the nitty gritty. I want to just quickly run through what are like the basic moves and some of the circle moves and debt moves, or just what they generally are, so that way we understand some of the terminology. Because you can see on screen we've spoken about, well, we've added to our blood and we've added to our heart and mind, or the mortalis and the night. And those are basically the pluses and minuses that we're going to add to our 2d6s when we roll. And you would think of that in like D&D terms would be like when you ask to roll a strength check or a dex check or a skill check. So these are the 8 things that we would roll. I'll say, roll me a blood check. And in this case, Delaney would roll 2d6 plus 3. And that's what these represent. The other hold on, let me pull up my information. Let me read to you what they specifically are. So blood is the measure of your fight or flight instincts. It tells you how tough, dangerous, coiled, or quick to act your character is in a situation. Your heart is the sum of your passions, your charm, your charisma. It tells you how proficient your character is at getting what they want through negotiation and discussion. Mind is your reflection of how critical thinking and observation skills are, and how character you're good is at deceiving others. And spirit gauges your connection to the other, how your force of will is, and how focused your character is under pressure. So those are the general archetypes for those. And then underneath that, we have Mortalis, Night, Power, and Wild. And these are our circles. So when we say circles, they represent our where our characters are from. We have our characters here. So Delaney is a knight character, for instance. Knight are your transformed characters, the vampires, the werewolves. I believe the last one is the Sorn, and those
Ghost
three.
too, right?
Oh, the ghost, the specter, the knight. So those are your transformed characters. Your power is like your those who have gotten powers through a deal or some other magical entity or reason. So wizards, your oracles, your I think maybe that's the sworn. I always forget the third one of the power. Um, your wild are those that are not from this world. So we have the imp, we have the fae, and we also have, well, blanking out on them. And our tainted, yeah, which are from another realm. And then also our mortalis, and these are our human-like characters that have pierced the mundane. They have now are aware of the magic around them. And there is the aware, which is like a clever inquisitor, a mortal investigator, peer through the supernatural. There's also a hunter and a veteran. And so the mortalis are your like human characters um, brought to life. So those are our circles and what we mean when we were adding to our points earlier to get our numbers. So some of the ways that we interact in Urban Shadows is using basic moves. So I've put on my screen here, and it is a very collaborative role play heavy game. It is storytelling. We're building a fiction together. It is a narrative. So our characters don't always have to, like in D&D, say I'm going to roll, I want to punch the thing. You might say, describe something narratively, and then I'll say, it sounds like you're turning to violence, or it sounds like you're being a little aggressive. So then we have moves to help you through that, such as turn to violence, and we follow the instructions when that action is triggered. So in this example, we'll say, when you turn to violence, roll with blood, and on a hit, you inflict harm as established, and your opposition gets to choose one. So you do what you're trying to do. You do that violence, but then whomever you're doing the violence against will say, I do harm back to you, or I put you in a bad spot, or I create an opening to flee based on that hit. And the hit is the 7 to 9. But if the person attacking rolls a 10 plus, they also get to choose, it's actually a terrible harm, or they get to take something. So you get a bonus if you roll well. And so you can see there's lots of these situations or moves here that sort of are flavors for how you play the narrate and describe things. So if you're trying to escape a situation, you might try and figure someone out as you're talking or discussing things with an NPC. You might try and mislead, distract, or trick someone. You might persuade them or try and keep your cool. So earlier, Delaney was saying how she's triggered by her emotions. And if she's angry or upset, or if things are just really stressful, she might transform. I might have her roll a keep your cool often to see if she can prevent herself from freaking out and raging on people. So that's one of the things I might say, hey, this is kind of stressful. Do you think you need to keep your cool? And normally I wouldn't call as much, but because of the stressors, the weaknesses, that might come up a little more often. Let it out, we've mentioned, is using your power, using the spirit from within. You get to pick an ability from your playbook and use your abilities or mark a corruption and do it. If you roll high enough, you can choose to avoid the consequences or lend a hand, get in the way. Same thing. There are ways for you to aid, or it's like the help action, aid or hinder an opponent based on how we narrate it in the story. And so there's not really turns in this game. It's sort of how we build the fiction together. And as long as things make sense, we build it. And what's really cool is there's advanced moves for all of these. So if you roll a 12 plus on any of the um, moves mentioned above, there's additional things that trigger. So if you turn to violence on a 12 plus, you inflict a harm as established, and then you get to choose 2 from the list of 10 plus. So if you choose an escape a situation, you also get to make an important discovery. So you get really cool things if you roll really well, or if you have those like we've established, you get that +3 and then the additional +1, or a opponent helps, you can get that 12, 13, 14s on these rolls and do some really impressive stuff in your in the narrative. So these are the basic moves that everyone has access to. We also have what are called other moves. So other moves are circle moves and det moves. So we have your circle, they're called circle moves because it's doing things that might involve people of one of those circles, the mortalis, the night, the power, the wild. And we have put a name to a face. So when you put a name to a face or vice versa, roll with the circle. So how much influence do you have? How well do you know that circle? And then on a hit, you get to learn their reputation, or you get to know stuff about them, and you get to um, understand and use this to help drive your narrative forward. You can study a place of power, and so if you're at a sanctuary, you're at the holy ground, you're at a temple, you can say there's a weird energy here, and you can be like, I want to just take a little few minutes to study this place and see if I can understand something about it, and we'll roll and see how that happens. There's hit the streets, so you can go on out and try and talk to the people in the neighborhoods and talk to the people of that circle, and you might get an answer to what you're looking for. So these are the circle moves. And det moves, debts are very important in this game. So we're going to get into these in just a moment, and all of our characters have starting debts to each other and to NPCs that really creates this web in the story. And when you are doing someone a favor, I will get to narrate and say this, you can say that they owe you a debt, they owe you a favor in return. And you can also interfere in someone's business. And if you do, you're going to then owe them a debt for mucking up what was happening. And then what's really cool is we're going to keep track of those on our sheet to debts we owe and debts we collect. And then you can cash them in to do some really cool things. So you would cash in a debt with a PC to make them answer honestly, make them do a moderate favor. You can use it to lend a hand and give them that +1 or get in the way of someone else. You can erase a debt that they hold over someone else or take a debt. And with NPCs, similarly, you can have them answer honestly. You can make them arrange a meeting with an important person, maybe grant a boon or give you a gift, or exchange debts. And also, it's meant to be a fluid game. So sometimes you'll owe a debt and then they aren't ready to honor it. So you can refuse a debt or a debt can be refused. And this happens, or when this happens, we'll roll on the difference between our circle levels. And then depending on if we hit or miss, you will still owe the obligation and be able to skirt by. Or you might be asked to pay an additional debt or mark a corruption for the choice. So these are ways on how the web and narration or how this crazy web of characters and stories are going to come together. So let me pause here for a second and ask my players, any questions, comments on the basic moves or the other moves?
Yep, all good here.
I guess it's a little bit of a question.
Yeah.
So, because I saw the word sanctuary. Since my territory counts as a sanctuary, and if something happens in it, I could do that kind of a move to study the place of power.
Yeah, so like in your sanctuary, if you wanted to potentially in the story, like maybe like we know that it's haunted, maybe you
Yeah.
want to study it and find, is there an anchor or a source of
Mm,
what it is, of
yeah.
why these specters specifically haunt this, or maybe there's something else going on and you want to do it. But really study a place of power is any place where in the story it makes sense that there's like a gathering. You're not just like at the mall or you're not just like at a
Right.
random park. As long as it's like holds some significance, you can be like, hey, I want to study this place and learn if there's something about it. And that will, depending on the role, give you some additional narration. So it doesn't need like the tagline sanctuary. You know what
Okay.
I mean? Because like
Mhm.
gathering spot is also on in the list too. So
Cool.
as long
Okay.
as it has like sort of a narrative weight a little bit.
Got it. And that's just 2d6. You don't. Oh, wait, never mind. I found it.
Yeah,
Oh, with the
yeah.
circle that controls it.
That
I get it.
controls it. Yep,
Cool.
exactly. Same exact thing. So, like as we mentioned before, you have your, blood, heart, mind, spirit. We have our mortalis,
Mhm.
power, night, and wild. So those are the circles. And yeah, if you're, out, like we know that Central Park in our storyline, which I read out to our wonderful people here. We're going to get into that. And right as we finish this up, I'll read the premise. But we know that this story's premise is around the Fae and the humans and the powers in Manhattan and in Central Park. So you can, in this instance, maybe certain areas of Central Park that would normally be just a park, you might be able to study a sanctuary or do other things. So you can, you know, we'll sort of dig through that together narratively.
Cool. Cool.
Awesome. Okay, so last but not least is our hub. So in this one, we've chosen the art district to be our hub. And basically, this has some residents, and our players here have chosen two of the residents each to either owe them, one of them at least will owe NPC will owe them a debt, but they potentially can have both owed debts. And that will sort of add to this web and narration, but also gives you access to additional moves when you're in an art district or in an area that feels appropriate for it. So the art districts are color swirls with pops and blisters. Wild thrives here, tiptoeing the line between artistic passion and corporate assimilation. Buskers on the street corners with nothing but their aspirations and a beat up guitar case, while wealthy rub shoulders with coworkers and overworked gallery owners and preening artists. Dreams of the currency of art Dreams are the currency of the art district. Just be careful not to let yours fall into the wrong hands. So when you're in the art district or a place that sort of makes sense, you're in a gallery, you're in a art studio, you're in a concert hall, you're in a, you know, band room, something like that, you can come together, and that allows you to organize a protest and put pressure on powerful NPCs. There's also chaos is a ladder. When you posture for clout in front of well-connected NPCs, you get to roll. Pardon me, excuse me. And on a hit, they buy your ruse and you get a +1 status relevant circle until time passes or your deception is revealed. So these are additional moves that our Delaney and Phaedrian have access to when they need to. And oh, and actually one more, promises, promises. So when you persuade an NPC by promising a concrete assistant pursuing their dreams, you can mark a corruption to take a 12 instead of rolling. If you cannot fulfill your promise by the end of next session, mark another corruption.
I already love that one.
Oh
Love
yeah.
it. Love it. So we have our residents here, an imp. Ryan Swift, the imp, who's an upscale fashion line, slowly warps the bodies of those who wear its creations. Kai, a powerful member of the demonic crime organization. Mark Zhang, a charismatic oracle and art dealer whose clients hire him for his uncanny ability to snuff out talents and secrets. Cyril Callis, a street wizard turned corporate sellout. um, Adelaide, a preppy werewolf pup who runs a popular cupcake stand. Anna Dombrowski, a vamp who publicly murders and resurrects victims each night in her sold-out bloody performance. Anushka Chakalingam, an art gallery owner who collects an array of artifacts and even one that allows her to walk in dreams. Wow. And Elias Ben Urza, a retired demon hunter. He's been found in his niche making profoundly disturbing sculptures of his former prey. So these are well-known people in this area that both players are familiar with and will be choosing that these two of these have debts to them. So we're going to get into some of these debts and make relationships with these residents, but we're also going to make relationships with each other. So let's jump back now that we've introduced our characters and our setting, or part of our setting, to the wolf page. And let's go to your questions and see. We'll start with you first, Delaney, and then we'll sort of go back and forth with our relationship so it feels a little bit more, a
Cool.
little bit have a better flow. So let's read through one of your debt questions
Cool.
and let's build that narrative together.
So the question was, someone intervened on my behalf when I crossed someone powerful from another circle. And we kind of talked a little bit about it. That Phaedrian, I'm saying that wrong,
No,
am I not?
Phaedrian.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Okay, great. Phaedrian intervened on my behalf when I crossed someone powerful of the Fae circle. So we haven't really fleshed out exactly what I did or how they intervened, but we have that so far.
Yeah, okay. So Phaedrian, what happened? Um, or actually, let me ask you first, Delaney. What did you? It says you intervened when you crossed someone powerful. How did you
Yes.
cross this Fae? Or how are you
I
attempting to cross this Fae?
I had some questions. Like I thought about maybe, so I also have been sort of taking odd jobs, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm really good at hunting things down or hunting people down. So I think it's possible maybe I got hired either by Anushka or someone else, because Anushka is my resident that I'm connected um, to maybe hunt an artifact or a person down, and
Okay.
didn't know all the details, and
Ah,
maybe like either I inadvertently caused damage while transformed, or maybe I like disrupted something like fey and sacred that I didn't know was. So we can maybe flesh out what makes the most sense.
So I was thinking, Well,
You've gone to black.
Yeah, you've gone black.
oh no.
Too beautiful to fade away.
That's
Too
just
beautiful.
too much. But all my glory has returned. I'll have
Yes.
to fix that setting. Um, so I was thinking that you were hired by Anushka to get a scepter or something that was key to this ritual that Queen Titania needs. So you didn't know, of course. She just said, and maybe, and she didn't even know. She was doing this on behalf of a proprietor or someone and was basically the middle person between you and that. But you went to get this artifact, the staff of Titania, didn't realize what it was, grabbed it, and was caught by Titania herself. I know you, of course, we're close, and I saw what was going on, and it definitely intervened to stop you. And then Scott was like, Queenie, Queenie, please, 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 please. She knows not what she doeth. I promise you, we will make this better. Look, how about her and we handle the preparations to get this summer court, and you don't have to worry about anything. Leave it on us, please, but spare her life. And then she gave in. It
Um,
is an idea.
I Yeah, absolutely. I think that yeah, you definitely owe Phaedrian a debt. And um, with that debt, I would say logically, Phaedrian, you owe a debt to your monarch,
Mhm.
for
Sparing
Delaney,
me.
Yeah.
for saving Delaney.
Yeah.
All right.
That's cool.
So mark that. I see that you've updated that in your sheet. Um, Phaedrian, let's read through one of your debts.
Well, one my debts that I owe. Do you want the debts that need to have collect?
Your choice. So on the sheet, there, I believe, are 3 debt questions that we start with. So let's pick any one of those 3 questions, read out the question, and then let's talk through it.
Let's read out this one. Someone, and I think it's Anushka that I put there, disrupted a rare ritual of your court for personal gain. The ritual was thereby what was happening with Delaney, besmirching my reputation because I took responsibility. Now, I may not be able to stay in the mortalis realm for very longer, and I can't have that. Not when the show of a lifetime is happening. Uh,
All right. Okay. Yeah. So we'll say that Anushka disrupted the ritual um, for personal gain, and they owe you a debt. What did she gain from disrupting your ritual? Did she take a
so
reagent?
I would say
Or
that
you tell us, what were you thinking?
I'm thinking that she didn't get it because that was the item that she was trying to get, this scepter. And now um I'm in trouble, but it wasn't her who wanted it. I think there was somebody else tied to one, maybe the Warren factions, who knows. And she's just a middle person in between. So she didn't actually get it. Um, but for me not turning her in to the queen, she owes me a debt, and now I'm going to see if maybe I can use it to figure out what she might know.
All right. So it was a ritual you were performing. So let's say, um, like you said, you being Queen Titania, maybe you were consecrating her staff. Maybe you
Mhm.
got it from someone, and you were preparing to, offer it to her when she arrives in this mortal realm. And Anushka grabbed it and touched it and sullied it and besmirched. And Titania is linked with her artifact. It's like her throne, her scepter, and her throne and crown, and all of those are symbols of hers. And she immediately felt the disrespect and like the sullen aspect of it. So that's why you were and you're her right hand. You're entrusted with it. So that's why um you were besmirched, and maybe you aren't really worthy of being here. like you said. So maybe Titania's a little upset by that. So yeah, Anushka definitely will owe you uh, a debt for that. Let's take another one. We'll sort of snake back. So what's one more of let's read one more of your questions. Or did you choose let's choose the debt that you have with Delaney.
Sure. So, you entrusted someone, the point would be Delaney, with an important and dangerous task. Ask them if they succeeded. If they succeeded, you owe them a debt. If they failed, they owe you a debt. And I would say the task that I need is what exactly Queen Titania needs to complete this ritual that for this very that we're about to embark on. It was my job to get the final things ready. Perhaps the staff she was able to retrieve it back from Manushka before she was going to turn it over to this unknown person. Um, and at least one part of my redemption has been resolved.
Okay, so this is something that has happened already. So so Delaney, were you successful or did you fail?
Yes, this was one of the ones that I was successful in.
All right, awesome. So that means that since you succeeded, you get to have a debt owed to you by Phaedrian since you completed that. So on your character sheet, on under the debts owed to you, make sure that you write completed task for Phaedrian, one debt owed. Or completed dangerous task.
Ooh,
So that
yeah,
way you can use that to tug on those heartstrings when you need to cash in that debt.
right.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't so straightforward. She had already turned it into someone, and you have to go through some weird mob
Mhm.
and get it back.
All right, let's continue. So Delaney, let's read through another one of your debt questions.
I'm gonna jump around a little because I
Yeah.
put these in order. One of them I'm just noting from Adrian's side. So the other one for debts owed. Anushka hired me for a job, and I have to ask a question. Are we allowed to swear on stream?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
This is an
Teen
18
Plus.
plus
Feel
stream.
free.
I was like, it's written in here, and I gotta make sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the question, as written, Anushka hired me for a job, and I fucked it up. And the question was like, explain what other obligation got in the way, and I owe them a debt. So what I wrote was, she hired me to recover some artifact. And the problem is, I tracked the artifact to some like a nightclub, and I caught the scent of vamps and lost control. So I lost control, and in the process, lost the artifact.
All right. Interesting. Okay. So to make this simpler, we're gonna say it's not Titania's staff. It was a different
That one, yeah,
artifact.
that's different.
This
Yeah.
is a different artifact
Yep.
that, maybe a little bit further in the past before the
Yeah.
whole staff incident, this happened. So yeah, you fucked up, and Anushka is holding that above you, and will definitely um be cashing that in or asking for a favor when the time comes.
Yeah.
So let's do your last debt, which I believe is to Phaedrian, right?
Yeah, I think yeah, I was documenting it on my sheet, but this one is actually one of Adrian's questions. I have a debt to collect to Adelaide, who's a relationship resident, sorry.
Let's finish
You want to
this.
do the other one?
Finish
Yeah.
the starting debts, and then we'll go to the relationships of the people, the hub people.
Oh, I think that was the starting debts.
Oh,
This one,
one of your starting debts should be with Phaedrian, though. Did you
yeah,
do
that
that?
was the intervening on my
Yeah,
behalf
we were.
one.
Duh. Yeah, the intervening on
Yeah.
behalf. Okay.
And then
Um.
I'm documenting it on my sheet to keep track, but this
Oh,
other
fuck.
question
Oh,
is
and then
actually Adrian's.
sorry. Yes, the last one. Someone lives in your territory, benefiting from your protection. They owe you a debt. Yes,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's the one.
And that one,
Um,
Adelaide lives in your territory.
yeah, the little peppy werewolf. Now you said werewolf pup. Is this a child?
So let us go through this together because we don't want to cross any lines. So it says, I I think I said pup when it meant to be Adelaide the preppy or peppy. Sorry,
Okay,
I fucked it up
I just
again. The peppy werewolf. So I meant
okay.
I'm GMing and running, and I sort of quickly scanned it. So I messed it up. How old would you? The wording is peppy werewolf who runs
I
a
mean,
cupcake stand. So if she runs a cupcake stand, I'm sort of thinking of it as like a crumb or like a crumble. Like she probably owns like a proper shop. Maybe it's like a smaller like bodega like. So she's got
mhm.
to be at least old enough to own a business license. So she's at
That's
least
kind of what I thought.
18, at
Okay.
least 18, if not older. So how old would you think she should be? But Adelaide is a peppy werewolf.
I definitely think she's young, probably 18 to 20
Okay,
range.
let's
Like
make her 20.
she's still peppy.
Yeah, the life hasn't been
Life
drained
hasn't
out of her yet.
beaten her down yet, so
Okay.
so
Yep.
yeah. Oh,
Awesome.
and all I wrote for it was, she lives in my territory, benefiting from my protection. Was I put okay? So I really loved this little detail about Adelaide in
Please,
the
please.
relationship thing, that she runs this cupcake stand. That, let's see, I don't want to mess it up. That colorful cupcakes that allow you to ask a question of the dead. And I thought that was so fitting. So I put her cupcake stand on my nightly patrol route at first out of self-interest, because I hoped to use one of their cupcakes to speak with my sister, but I haven't done it.
You haven't done it yet. Okay.
I think I've just there's it's too confusing and messy, and
Yeah.
I think you never want to ask a question that you don't want to know the answer to.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. No, I love that.
Oh my god, I spelled no, okay, got it. Yeah,
Um,
so yeah.
I absolutely love that. And we will jump to the relationship. So the debt that she owes you, we'll still get you. We'll still think about that because that's in addition to these relationship starting debts that you have. So when you picked her
Oh.
as your relationship, you get to say she owes me on top of that. You don't have to fit it into
Okay,
the debts that you have. It's in it on top of.
got
And
it.
if you want to choose, since you put her into your archetype's starting debt, if you want to pick a different NPC to be the one that owes you, you can.
Okay.
Um, or you can keep her and just have her owe you two debts for another reason we'll come up with.
Okay.
Um, Phaedron, do we have any more debts for you to cover? I want to make sure that I didn't drop any of those.
Yes, so I have one more debt, specifically involving Delaney. I'm keeping a secret from her. I'm hidden on behalf of a powerful member of her circle, which is Knight. They
You are
and
keeping something hidden on behalf of someone else in a powerful circle. Oh, ask them why. Okay. So you're hiding a night object. What is why?
hmm,
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out too. I was am I understanding it correctly that you're keeping either an object or a secret hidden
it's
for
a
me, right?
yeah, secret for you or object, yeah, something for you.
Yeah. Could it be like in all of these little missions I'm taking on hunting trips and all of that, could it be that maybe I've found some kind of artifact with some kind of magic that my circle would, or my pack would, for like, say it's taboo or forbidden, like
Oh,
something, maybe something that I'm hoping to divine information about my sister, or something like that, something that I care about, but my pack would not want me to use it.
okay.
I don't know
Mm,
what kind of object that could be.
I think it might be, yeah, like you said, it's taboo to use, but in times of desperation, maybe your pack has used it and you don't want your leaders, because it's saying you're hiding it from your leaders.
Yeah.
So instead of it even tempting you, you're like, Phaedron, just take this. They can't even know that this exists. So let's go with, how about like a ancient totem, or like maybe you found something on one of your patrols, um or like dug up, or maybe someone brought something to you and you uncovered that it held this deep old magic in it.
Okay.
Phaedron, you have anything you want to add to that? Maybe.
I'm thinking. I don't like that. No, I hadn't. I was, but I'd rather go with this one. I was thinking something else, but that, yeah, it could be like a talisman or something.
Yeah, talisman or something. It's how about, oh, I love that. That actually just gave me a good idea. How about it's the talisman of the moon, and the weaknesses of the werewolves is that they have to be under the moonlight, but when they're wearing the talismans, they can transform at will during the day. And in the past, that has caused the
And
werewolves and
abused.
vampires, they abused it, and they were lost. And Delaney found more than one. We'll say you found the waning
Ooh,
crescent, the waxing crescent, and the full moon. You found those 3 talismans.
that's crazy.
Okay, I'm gonna put that. You hold the of the moon 3 phases, which allow werewolf to transform whenever they abused in the past and lost these relics to time. Awesome. So that has been added to your sheet. And now that's another debt that you hold over Delaney.
Mm.
Fantastic. Okay, so in addition to these relationships that we have with each other, and as you've seen, we've tied these relationships to some of our NPCs, we get to choose NPCs from our hub and get to have them be indebted to us by default. So you get to pick one of them and they owe you a debt. Because we have our 2 lovely casts today and not a larger crew, we actually I am allowing them to pick 2. So choose 2 of these NPCs. They both can owe you a debt, or the second one, you can choose to owe them a debt if you want for narrative purposes. So who would like to go first with the 2 NPCs you have relationships with? Or one of the 2?
So I misunderstood the assignment.
No problem. Let's go through. No problem. Let's go through it together.
But
I could see how it's a little confusing because you think that you need to take a resident and put it into yours, but
mhm,
it's all
separate.
gravy. It's all gravy here. You get extra connections.
All
So
good. So we already went over one of them. So I had picked Anushka Chakalingam, an art gallery owner who's collected an array of artifacts, even one that allows her to walk in dreams. I had put her under my original thing, the hired for me a job that I hired me for a job and I fucked it up.
mhm.
Um, so I don't know if we'll need to move something or if that's fine.
No, that's super
Um,
cool. So that's
is
your
that
that
one
was
weird?
your
Good.
that was your starting debt. So do you
Yeah.
also want to say that you owe Anushka a debt because you fucked up her
Yes.
thing? But how about she owes you something. So how about when she was starting this art gallery and collecting these artifacts, they were constantly being raided by
Mm,
the supernatural or haunted, and you was like, I'll put you on my patrol. And
mm,
crime sort of has and issues of hers has sort of dropped, and so that's why she owes you a debt.
perfect.
Do we like that? So
Yeah.
add that to your add that to you owe her she owes you a debt. So that's a debt for you to collect, and say Anushka's art gallery is part of your patrol. They owe me 1 debt.
Okay.
Phaedrian, would you like to claim your first NPC? Or tell us
Sure.
about the claim your NPC. Would you like to? Well, I mean, you are a fae. You do claim people, but
Mm.
would you tell me about whom are you captivating today?
Oh, quite the opposite, and I hate to admit
Ooh,
this. I
ooh.
owe a debt to someone.
Who do
Ugh.
we owe?
So Ryan Swift, head of um, the Swift fashion line.
Hmm.
Uh,
No relation to Miss Taylor Swift.
oh no, of course not.
No relation. Yeah,
At least we think.
he
But
wishes.
Mr. Swift, who's really an imp in disguise, makes the most beautiful of fashions. Now, I have heard that his clothes do turn the wearers into his creations, which is, I try not to dive into the details. But this outfit is only made from Swift's impeccable craftsmanship. So,
Designer leathers, the most
it's,
supple fabrics, the most
yes,
bejeweled and dazzled. That's a whole new word. Dazzling Swarovski crystals,
just
dripping in
opulence.
opulence.
But of course, I don't want to become his creation, so I
So
owe
you've
him a
owed him a
debt.
debt for removing some of the additional effects. All right, I love that. So you have an understanding to sort of remove a little bit of the nastiness of his dazzled. Thanks, Mike TV. Yeah, you don't want to be dazzled. That's like a little bit like a disaster and bedazzled. A
Hmm.
dazzled, a disaster, if you will. Okay, awesome. So Ryan knows that you're hold a captive audience and might come to you and say, "Hey, you got to wear this next creation," or "I want you to plaster my name. I better hear sponsored by." At the next event. So we'll see
Uh,
how he calls in that debt. Make sure you put on your debts owed, Ryan
mhm.
Swift for fashion.
And I feel really guilty about it, but like I gotta look good.
Gotta look. I mean, how couldn't you?
Mm.
The things we
Um,
sacrifice for fashion.
yeah, the things we sacrifice for fashion. So we are about to. We're gonna jump back. We'll do Delaney, your uh, last NPC, and then Phaedrian's, and then we will take a quick break. Just to set everyone so we know. Then we'll take a quick break because we have fully introduced all of our characters in the world, and then we will continue our story. So let's finish. Let's wrap this up, or wrap up this first half. And who is the second NPC that you've chosen to be entangled
Hmm.
with?
Let's see. So Anushka owes me. So this will be one that I owe, right?
Your choice. You can have two people owe you, or this one you can choose to um, still have them owe you another debt. So it's
Okay.
up to you. I know, and also since I know you said you owed a lot of debts, if you want to have someone owe you, feel free, please.
Okay.
It's
I
fine.
was like, yeah, my character's a disaster.
Yeah,
She owes everybody. I was kind of looking at like I don't know why, but I thought it was kind of fun. The Kai, a high-powered member of a demonic crime organization, and the owner of a local gay bar popular with the wild. So like
love it.
maybe this is a bar that me and Phaedrian went to,
Yeah,
and maybe I like fought off some kind of attack
yeah.
and kept it safe or something.
So are you, let's see. Let me jump to your sheet real quick and see what circle are you least then
Um,
you're
my least would be
the
the
power.
power.
Okay, so then let's say maybe there were some uh like I think tainted are the I keep hold on. I keep messing up the last because it's oracles and wizards and what is the last um
See,
is it the
no, I was gonna say something, but it's not that one.
I keep messing it up because I want to make sure I'm giving you the right person. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Let's go. Okay. So we've got for power,
Oh, it's
there's
the
the
sworn.
wizard. Okay, the sworn.
Yeah. So they
The
wield
little
legendary
paladins.
weapons.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like little paladins, and they often find their morals and duties at odds. So let's
Hmm.
say that maybe there were some sworn that were there to hunt those
The demons.
demons. Yeah, and they were there to stir some shit because you're you do your patrols to keep your territory safe. And
Yeah.
so in this moment, your instincts just kicked in and you fought them off with them. And those demons, even though they run a little bit of a crime syndicate, you know where to go to get down. And when you need to sort of go to the underbelly, well, you're not really a cop anyway. So,
No,
so you have no problem mixing with them.
I'm
So yeah,
pretty neutral. I really am a very living in the gray kind of character, so it makes sense.
yeah.
I like that. Okay.
Love that. Okay, absolutely makes sense.
Okay.
And so Kai and the demons at the gay bar owe you. Love that. Last relation or residence connection, Phaedrian.
I was also thinking somewhere on the same lines as uh, Mr. Laney here, as I think that Kai also owes me a debt because I have been performing at his bar, bringing in with my sultriness, my extravagance, all types of clientele. And, maybe Kai and I might have a past that I can't speak about, not on camera.
Mm-hmm. Um, Normally you'd pick different people, but I'll allow it. It makes sense for the narrative, and I feel like it also adds. Um, Actually, you might be able to. I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up. All right. So Kai also owes you too. So let's say in this narrative story that Phaedrian, you were there. You and Delaney were enjoying. Maybe you were performing. Delaney, there, you're enjoying seeing your friend, blowing off some steam, trying to cool down a little bit or loosen up, being very, but still very vigilant. And good thing you were, because those fucking sworn came and started some shit. So you jumped right into action and started barking out battle orders or formation, and
Barking.
yeah, bark exactly. I didn't even mean to do that. Barking out orders, and these people jumped into pack formation or close enough, and you were able to really take control. And Phaedrian, you were that easily able to manipulate and make sure that no one that there was no struggle. So yeah, I love that. So Kai is very indebted to each of you, and also we'll say collectively knows you two are like, not like you guys, they know that you guys are buddies. Awesome, I love that. And so we also do have, now that we've built some of this narrative and story together, we do also have relationships, which can be a little spicy, but they're meant to sort of drive the story between players. And this sometimes is better when we have a little bit more people. So if you feel like none of these really fit, or if they need to be massaged a little bit, feel free to throw that out there. Or if you feel like you two know each other well enough and would rather establish your own fiction together, we can set these aside. But I just wanted to make sure that I pointed them out and let you know that these are more personal and less political in the story, and are meant to sort of help sort of build and maintain the verisimilitude of the fiction. So give them a read and let me know what your thoughts are.
So
Or have you, sorry.
there was one that we had kind of run by earlier. I
Yeah.
don't know how well or what we're gonna do with it, but I had thought Phaedrian's art is hauntingly similar to that of my sibling, who I thought died years ago, and little things that they say make me think they know more than they're letting on. What leverage do you plan to use to get them to tell you the truth? That I just thought was a spicy, fun one.
I do think that's a spicy, fun
Oh,
one. That's not too crazy. Phaedrian, are you okay with this one?
oh, 100%.
All right, then let's put that in there. Let's say Phaedrian's art. So Phaedrian, is it your like stage performance, maybe the lyrics that you're doing, or do you actually do physical art as well too that maybe you shared with Delaney?
Probably my lyrics, maybe certain lyrics seem to be too a little on the nose, too close to stuff. Maybe like maybe one of my songs was a lullaby that perhaps you had heard, you and your sister were sung to, and like a wolfen lullaby that I'll come up with by the time we get to it in the story.
A
Oh, that is
lupine lullaby.
Lullaby.
I'm spelling it wrong, but you got it.
that is very fun, and I also I love the idea that it could be lyrics, since my sister was an artist, and I imagine she did sort of more physical art, but you know how the pieces always have a name? Maybe, some of the names of
Mhm.
her, lesser known pieces that people like, wouldn't be as recognizable to most people, have made their way into your lyrics, and it feels, weird, there's some themes or things going on there that remind me of her art.
Yeah, can you remind me of your sister's name again? Sorry.
Delilah.
Delilah. Hey there, Delilah.
Yep.
I
First name that I came up with when I was like, "Delaney, Delilah." Sure.
How do I spell that? D-E-L. I'm dummy.
Hold on, without saying okay, Delilah.
Lila.
Is that
Okay, that
right?
looks right. That
Yeah,
looks right.
I
That looks
thought.
right to me. You faded. Have you escaped to the Fey realm again, Phaedrian? You've gone black.
Oh.
Or are you still here? All right. So that is Delaney's song. Yeah, and also this document is ours to type. So please feel free to update my spelling and words and add
Oh,
more.
I'm so crazy. No, I think this was right. I was just like,
Uh,
why do I feel like I've added so many L's and I's?
no.
I
That's
don't know how to spell Delilah.
you know how like sometimes you're like that doesn't sound right, like orange.
Yeah.
That is orange.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like, have you ever done that like with words where you're
all
like,
the
that doesn't sound like how it's really spelled. I feel like I do that all the time, so no worries.
constantly.
And Phaedrian, do you have a relationship or complication here that you'd like to throw in or add?
Um, I actually didn't think about one, but I do want to add one in here.
Yeah. Some of them are kind of interesting. I feel like um some of these are meant to be a little contentious, but because there's the two of you, we don't want to be as contentious, but normally in most games they would add a little extra spice. But I do like the like mysterious ones or the like sort of uh like sassy ones. Like I do think the um art one is good. I also think that
Ooh,
um
I kind of like that you had a relationship with a shop owner. Who are these shop owners that we have here?
which one is this? Which
The first one, you've recently fallen for a successful shop owner downtown.
Okay, your artwork has been showing up in prestigious galleries, but you weren't the one to put it there. Insert name was the only one aside from you to have access to your work. So in this case,
No,
you
not
would
that
need.
one.
Oh, which one?
The one that says hub in hub.town relationships.
Oh, it's downtown.
Yeah.
That's why.
We're in the art district.
Oh,
Sorry.
we're in the art district. My mistake. Okay. Um.
Yeah, sorry. There are actually, just for our subscribers here, while you read over the ones in the art district, there are 4 hubs in the book. There's the art district, downtown, city hall, and university, and they offer a very similar breakout and layout with different residents, hub moves, and relationships. So you can add variety to your, to your games. From my understanding, and to other GMs or MCs I've spoken with, generally you pick one district per like season or arc, so that way it's not too overwhelming. And with the storyline that we have written for this two-shot, I felt the art district was sort of the closest and made the most sense. So apologies for not being a little bit clearer with that. So I was between the art and downtown. I felt like they both were good, but I was a little selfish. I played the downtown twice recently, so I was like, let's do something different.
Fair
So
enough.
thank you for that. So have you given these a quick read and let me know? Here, let me hide this other one. Hide this sheet. and let me know what you think.
So, I like the person promised to help make your artistic aspirations come true. What makes you hesitant to accept the oh
This was the offer. It was
offer? I was like, or
offer.
Or
offer. I was like, what do what?
Or
I don't want to sound silly. Think I don't know what that means. Of course, I know what or means.
an or, of course I know what that is. Yeah. Oh, I
Uh,
love that.
and if it's someone who's a resident in the art district, I'm
No,
thinking,
these are for between people, between you and
oh, between
Delaney.
us though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
between each other.
oh, this is just between us. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Just between.
That's why I was saying, like, because some of them are very contentious, or not very, but like
Mm,
meant to add contention or spice.
Yeah.
Um, and
oh.
since normally we with more full party, there's a little bit more crisscrossing, but we have just sort of the two lines between you. So I didn't want it to be too harsh, but I think that this one really fits. I think Delaney could have helped you, um, but maybe it's because you're close to her dead sister, Papa. Or so we
Oopsies.
think, and you don't want her to get your friends, but you don't want to get this closer. Or who knows? We can, now that you have a fuller understanding, what are your thoughts? Or do you
Oh
have any
no,
other?
I'm for that. I would definitely say that maybe either that or you were arrested by a vampire cop. Those are the two
I
ones.
saw that one too. I was like,
I think that
well.
one's really
Oh
funny
wait,
as
that's
well
not
too.
me being arrested.
No, your
That's
friend was arrested a few weeks ago. They haven't been seen since, and you think blank knows where something about that.
that I would
Oh,
know.
not you. That you would
Yeah.
know.
You.
Oh, yeah. No, we
But
see. Read it. We need to read the whole prompt.
Mhm.
gotta read the whole because I was reading it. I was like, I could have been arrested, and then I was like, oh wait, I haven't been since that's somebody else. So, but I mean, it makes sense. Maybe you have a friend who got arrested by a vampire cop, and it makes sense. You know that I have a grudge with vampires, and that maybe I know something that I'm not sharing. It's
Mhm.
possible.
Okay. Yeah, I'm stuck between those two.
Yeah. What sounds like the most fun to sort of throw in, like to actually weave in an RP?
So the second one about the artistic aspirations will be more sentimental RP, but the first one will be more contentious and saying something. So we'll be more back and forth when it comes to in a
Yeah.
aggressive, where it'll be more kind of camaraderie. We take the second. So where we want to see this session go?
I feel like honestly, for the sake of time constraints and sticking to the story, maybe we want to stick with the artistic one just because
Okay,
it won't take away from the storyline, my thought is.
I
If we had
agree.
like if we had like a third session, then I
Mhm.
think we could maybe explore some more of the opposition.
Yeah.
I
But I
could.
feel like for the
So
what do you think?
I agree, and so I think that the artistic aspiration sort of fits into what we're doing now, but I could
Hmm.
weave the other one. I will say, based on the storyline that I've crafted, the vampire cop could make sense because we're going to give you paint the full picture when we come back for the break for our viewers and you, but you, my players, know already that we do have a vampire and a mortalis hunter as our two sort of antagonists. So it could be one of that vampire's like cops that took one of Phaedrian's Fey people that's required for Titania's ritual. And that's
Mm.
how it could be tied into the story if we want to go that route. So it wouldn't be like a noir investigation. We wouldn't completely switch to it be that, but that's how I would fold it into the overarching story.
Okay.
Or like Omar said, we could have it be a little bit more sentimental and explore the relationship between you two and as to why you're really good friends, but also there still seems to be a veiled barrier.
Hmm.
So you tell us how you're feeling.
Probably still going for the artistic. I want to have those moments, those touchy
All
feelies.
right. I love
The
it.
touchy feelies.
The touchy feelies. We're here for that.
Cool.
So Delaney promised to help make your artistic aspirations come true. What makes you hesitant to accept the offer? So Delaney, you're good friends with Phaedrian. You know that they're a star. They've helped you. You've helped them. Um,
Well, I think
Why?
this is asking Phaedrian, like,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm
I
saying. So I
oh,
I'm sorry, I was speaking on your behalf, saying, like, you've done these
oh,
things with
perfect.
Phaedrian. You have, have these connections that you've built together and this rapport. So Phaedrian, why are you hesitant? Delaney said that she wants to, go to the next she's ready to make a deal.
I asked so many people for help, and I want to do this on my own. I want to prove I can do it by myself. I'm already getting help from the Queen. I have my own private place where I could perform at the bar. I have a friend, an artist who helps me move around the mundane. I can't. If I give this to Delaney, then what have I done for myself?
Mm. Can I add to,
Yeah, please.
is that do you think that this is a little too close to a like a favor?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yep.
by me offering my help, does it feel a little too close to me telling you you owe me a favor if I do
Yeah, it
this?
gets into debt territory,
Yeah,
and that's what I will promise. I would never get into another debt besides the one I have currently. With, I mean, technically I have other debts, but we're getting to that big of a debt
yeah.
that I can
Mhm.
have with Queen Titania.
Yeah, and they already owe you a debt for you succeeding in their mission. You um not you entrusted Delaney with an important task and they succeeded. So um
Right
you
now, the balance is in Phaedrian's favor. I owe Phaedrian 2 debts,
co-
and they owe me 1. So right now, it's skewed in the right direction where a Fae wants it.
yeah, love it.
Mhm.
Exactly. All right. So that absolutely fits the narrative and yeah, maybe Phaedrian, there's something about being a Fae that that your friends, you keep your friends in a nice balance like this, but if you keep going deeper and deeper, it could, strain or break the relationship or who knows what. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right, okay. So I feel like I have a really good understanding of our story. I have a really good understanding of our characters and our relationship. Let's use this time to take a quick break. We've been playing for about the 2 hour mark. We're going to take a 15-minute break. We will be back. We will explain the story as we have it written out, and you will get to experience. Um, where is it? Let me get my notes. The binding of the harvest moon, and you will hear the background that our lovely characters here are going to dive into. So before we do that, like we said, let's take a quick bio break, but let me remind you that we have some awesome things. We are doing this for charity. We are raising money for the Trevor Project. So if you can, please donate. We had $50 donated earlier today. Thank you again, Vadina. I really appreciate that. And we've had the Semantic, it's Ian, not Lan, Altopa, Sir Kraken, Calaren, lovely, lovely Noxium. So thank you so much, all of you, for donating. And if you can't spread the word, share it. And also, we are giving away core rulebooks because we're sponsored. We are sponsored by Magpie Games. So as you can see, some of our people in chat have typed Magpie Space Madness, 2 words, no other extra junk. And the bot will add you to our list of entries. And next Friday, the 27th, 24th, you will be announced. You will be announced. You will be announced as the winner. It's coming to you. So on the 24th, we will announce this week's winner. And then we will also have another raffle the following week. So if you don't win, you have one more chance after this week's to win on the 31st, Halloween, where we wrap up Magpie Madness. So type in Magpie Madness, 2 words, in chat, and donate. Yeah, that's all. So we will be back. See you in a few minutes. Goodbye, everyone.
Mhm.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I am your host and MC today, Xendarik, your resident wizard here at A Tale of D20s. And today I am GM. I have with me two fantastic people as we play Magpie Games' Urban Shadows. I have with me Marie, or Delightfully Divergent, playing Delaney Stormfang, and our resident Tailweaver here, Omar, playing Phaedrian. Just a quick reminder, we are doing this for charity. We have raised half of half of our goal. Today we blew past the halfway mark, so if you can, please donate. It is for the Trevor Project. It is a wonderful cause. It helps LGBT plus Q youth in need. If you can't share, that's also wonderful. And as mentioned, we are sponsored by Magpie Games. So please enter Magpie Madness, two separate words, Magpie Space Madness, and nothing else, no exclamation points, no chats, no yays. And you'll get picked up by the bot and you will get entered in a chance to win. So we have another drawing on the 24th and the 31st. And we have already announced a winner so far. So hopefully you will win. And we'll ship it right to you. So with that, Urban Shadows, a quick background, is a urban fantasy in modern day. So we have our spooky, scary werewolves, our fairies, our monsters. We also have our human, our hunters, our veterans. It is in 2024. They have cell phones, they have cars, they have guns, they have all modern day stuff. But the mundane are unaware of that the non-mundane walk among us. So today I have the pleasure of bringing you the story of the binding during the harvest moon. Once every century, under the pale light of the harvest moon, the veil between realms thins, and the ancient pact between the Fae and their mortal allies must be renewed. This is a sacred night. It marks the consecration, a ritual of binding magic, and it's older than the city itself. The consecration weaves protection, enhances powers, and also secures the Fae's sovereignty over part of this modern urban sprawl. The Fae have journeyed from their shimmering lands and their ethereal glamour, clashing with the steel and concrete of this city. But they've come not as invaders, but to fulfill their ancient rights and claim these lands that most humans have long forgotten. I will note Titania has not arrived yet. She's still making her way. Joined by a powerful faction, the city's secret coven of witches and wizards, they must perform the rites to secure their hold over the city's magic for the next 100 years. The ceremony is elaborate. It's filled with arcane symbols and whispered oaths and sacrifices beneath the orange glow of the harvest moon. Every word spoken weaves power to the consecration, and the air hums. But not everyone has come to honor these pacts of old. In the shadow, forces long denied have been waiting for this very night. Hunters sharpen their blades, creatures of the night stir, and many hunger for a taste of the Fae's otherworldly magic. Even some of the Fae's own ranks, there is some fractured trust. Ghosts are stirring, and there are wars and rages between factions bubbling to the surface. And old grudges and hidden agendas will be revealed. The city itself is a living entity, and it has been shaped by these warring supernatural factions, and tonight it holds its breath. The harvest moon rises higher, the ritual chants echo in ancient tongues, and the threads of power are converging in Central Park. Who will claim the streets when the final word is spoken? What side will you choose? And what ancient terrors will be unleashed if the consecration is broken? So that is our backdrop. That is our background story. Let us, before we jump directly in, we went over and built our characters together. And we have all of our background moves and abilities fleshed out. But let's just quickly remind each other what we look like and describe our characters for the audience. And then we will and then we will jump right in. So let's start with Delaney. What does Delaney Stormfang look like? Please describe.
Well, Delaney Stormfang, if we're being formal, although I rarely am, so most people just call me Del. Um, Muscular individual, kind of non-conforming gender. They have olive, sort of tan skin, hazel eyes, and a long, shaggy, violet red mohawk. Usually it's not styled super on point, sort of just mess it up, put a little pomade on that, and it sort of just hangs to one side most of the time. One thing that's unique about and she they pronouns, just in case we for new listeners, just in case we didn't hit that. They have intricate tattoos truly covering almost every inch of their body. And for the most part, what you wouldn't see on the outside, but she knows, is it's covering countless scars all over her body from the many fights that I've been in. Um, is in terms of clothes, it's usually like a muscle tank or a fitted crop top to show off the muscles and the abs for days, because hey, I work hard for them. And usually like baggy cargo pants, gotta have my pockets, gotta have a little bit of movement, tucked into combat boots, and either a leather jacket or a leather vest. It's kind of the vibe. Um, it's kind of the deal. They always kind of have something. They look a little on edge all the time. It's that person that has constant hypervigilance.
Awesome. Love it. And let's uh please describe Phaedrian and maybe Phaedrian's normal look and then how they look tonight after a show, after putting on a show.
Oh, well, baby doll, I can tell you a little about what Phaedrian looks like. Phaedrian is a slender, 5'9", um, dark skinned elf with a very, say, toned physique, hairless completely, and his eye color always changes, just like the color of his beautiful hair. It can be multicolored, it can be one, depending on his mood, it will shift and fade. He wears the latest styles. Actually, he wears what is going to be the latest style as they continue to shift everything from their identity when it comes to gender. If they go by any all, always feeling and shifting in between and causing kind of crashing the barriers between gender identity. And
Can I ask a question for the audience and for myself for clarity? You said any all. Can you please shifting by that, do you like what do you mean specifically? So
yes,
that way people understand.
by any all, Phaedrian accepts all pronouns, feels that not one of them is uh, truly encapsulating exactly how they feel. And at any moment, they can shift and feel more masculine or feel more feminine, or maybe just a mixture of the two. So, by claiming one gender, Phaedrian feels that that's just being closed on, and as they encompass all of them at any
So if
given
you're
time.
feeling more feminine and someone says, "Hey girl," or if someone knows you, Phaedrian generally sometimes have a masculine appearance, says, "Hey man," like all of those are accepted and welcomed.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just wanted to share that experience with the audience. Um, Please continue your description.
Oh no, of course, of course, of course. So you'll see things that I mean, Lady Gaga looks to me for inspiration. Let's say that much. I like belts sometimes. I had an whole entire outfit made out of belts by a proprietor you may hold of the Swifts, you know. And so I'm always like to be glamorous and wearing. So what I'd be wearing may be different, depending. No tattoos, pretty much a hairless body, though. Um, I do have sparkling eyes that just encapsulate you. My long, multicolored, dimensional hair. I use all those good looks to win you over, and that is how I, Phaedrian the Fairy, look.
Fantastic. All right. So now let's shift the scene and start our story. So tonight we are going to pick up in Madison Square Garden. It is raucous, it is fiery, people are excited, the energy is still abuzz. Phaedrian just finished their set, and this was their debut. Awesome, a new album that they just released, and it was a hit. It was a banger. Madison Square Garden is still abuzz. This concert was sold out. But now the lights have dimmed, and the last note of Phaedrian's last hit, you feel the sultry mix of glamour and enchantment still echoing of the minds of the adoring fans. You stand backstage, opulent, incarnate, still basking in the glory of this performance. You catch your reflection in a mirror, a striking vision of a fey beauty, still glowing from the admiration of mortals who will never truly understand how wonderful and great you are. There's suddenly a faint ripple that passes through the air, a disturbance that only Phaedrian could feel. Your phone buzzes, and a name on the screen appears, and it makes even your perfect facade crack for a moment. It says Titania. You make your way to the back of the stage when push away those around you whom are adoring you, saying you just need a moment to breathe, you just need some air, and you make your way to your room dedicated just to you. And when you open the door and walk through, you are not in your room, you're in the grotto of the queen, and you hear a melodic voice speak to you. Phaedrian, my beloved star of the mortal realm, your performance tonight was captivating, as always. But I do not come merely to admire your talents today. The consecration approaches, and the time for play is over. She steps forward, locking her eyes with yours, standing up tall and radiant, filled with a rare mix of urgency, expectation, and joy. Time for play is over. You are filled with joy. I can feel it from here. And you know it is time to use your talents for me. The ritual must be perfect, or the fabric of our sovereignty will begin to fray. I need you to gather 3 artifacts: the Heartstone of Lysel, the Tears of Nyx, and the root of the Elder Tree. Without them, the binding will not hold, and our power over the city will be vulnerable to the forces lurking in the shadows. I know your hands are tied to this mortal fame you cherish, but these tasks cannot wait. She pauses for a moment. Her gaze softens. You have always been one of my brightest, Phaedrian. I know you will not fail me this time, but in short, there are dangers everywhere. I expect you to use your mortal connections, including that wolf of yours, Delaney. She has her uses. You see this room, the tree, the grotto start to fade. The trees start to crumble, and its summer brightness, the energy, the warmth starts to recede. You feel a chill. It is an understanding that her presence and time here is limited. She is fading back. Find these artifacts, secure our future, and when the moon is at its peak, I will call upon you again. Do this, Phaedrian, and your place in the court will be assured for another century. And with that, her image begins to fade, leaving behind the faintest scent of roses, rain, and summer. As she slips back into the ethereal, with her final words lingering in the air like an unspoken promise or a threat. What do you do?
Am I in the face still, or if I've returned back to the stage?
As you close your eyes and smell the roses and the fresh rain, you open it and you are in your dressing room. You are by yourself. It is the way you left it when you left, except now there are rose petals all over the floor. There's bouquets of flowers. There's unnatural amount of flora in this space, and it is because of her lingering presence. There may have been some additional chocolates and gifts sent from suitors and would-be lovers, but her presence she was here.
All right, so first of all, Phaedrian, she will look very shocked as she stares herself in the mirror. Looking back, there is a rock star with a face who's been slightly cracked after being introduced to or seeing this portent from her queen. She wears a pink jean jacket, tightly fit, with silver spikes coming out of it. No shirt underneath. The hair is completely pink as well. The pants are jeans that have been kind of like this pinkish shimmer to them, and then thigh-high boots, platform boots with spikes on it, pink color as well, with a pink bandana around her head. Shit. Well, so much for trying to linger in the overglow of my performance. 3 weapons. Take out my phone, bedazzled just like how I am, and start to dial, go through the contacts, and hit Baby Wolf and dial Delaney.
What?
Well, pleasure to see you too, baby doll.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. I mean, nice to, take your time out of the spotlight to call a little on me. What's up?
Sorry, I've been busy. You know
You
that this.
should be sorry. I love your attention. God.
I know, and I've been so rude. But
No,
I,
you're good. No, seriously, what's up?
yeah. I have a proposition for you.
Okay.
It seems that the very queen herself, Titania, has come upon me and quested us a task to collect
Damn.
3 items.
You talked to like
Mm-hmm.
Mama Faye, like
Yeah, uh-huh.
the Faye.
Yeah, girl.
What? Does she have like a set? Like how's that work out? Because I
Magic.
always pictured like it'd be something fabulous. Because you're fabulous, and I mean, she's the queen. So, but then part of me is just like, does she text? Does she use emojis? Like, you know?
Well, she uses magic. Think glitter dust, summer rain,
Uh,
florals flying around. Just, yeah, magic that.
wow. Okay. Okay. So back to so we gotta hunt down some stuff. Do you have any leads? I mean, I'm always down.
No leads, but we have to look for a Heartstone of Lysel, Tears of Nyx, and an Elder Tree. What was it? Branches, GM?
Yes, the root of the elder
A
tree.
root. And root of an Elder Tree. Or, sorry, the Elder Tree. And I know
I
you know
will.
a lot about what goes on between the city.
Okay. I gotta ask. I mean, I'm just gonna call it out right now. I don't want to get into this, and it'll be like one of those times, working for Anushka and be like, "Oh, it's some kind of Fey artifact." Is the root of the elder tree? Okay, stay with me. Is the elder tree like a guy? Like, are we taking somebody's root? Like, is it gonna be like a Lord of the Rings situation?
Well, and I would like to roll to see if I might know what these items are. You
Yeah. So this would be, I believe.
maybe I don't know if I can roll in my circle.
I think, yeah, this would be sort of like studying a place of power, or
Ooh,
yeah, which is a circle move.
yeah.
So let's have you roll with wild, because these were wild items described.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, I will.
And they are, I'll say, a little familiar to both of you. Not all, you don't all recognize all of them, but the root of the elder tree, Phaedrian, I think you have a maybe understanding. Let's see what your roll says. And the heartstone of Lysel, I think, Delaney, you might not have heard of that as well. So
So
Okay.
with wild, I have a 1 that is 6 plus 1, making that a 7.
a 7. Okay, so it says, on a hit, you will see below the surface of reality and will reveal. So this is for a power. So I'm going to say that this is a hit, and you get some insights on it. So the root of the elder tree is, you know that the elder tree grows in the heart of the Fey realm. So it's really bizarre that she would ask you to gather a root of it. But you also know that the wizards of the first circle, led by Julius, are the ones that are helping Titania. That this is a joint ritual between the Fae and the power of Manhattan. And Julius should have this object. And he, as far as you know, he is an ally. You know of him. So maybe it's as simple as acquiring it from him.
Hmm.
Um, you also know that the Tears of Nyx will say, um, that's what root of the elder tree will say, that that's what you know, Phaedrian. And Delaney, let's have you roll as well.
Okay. Cool. Let's roll my wild. Wait, wild,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going with wild dice. My flower
Ooh,
dice,
ooh,
and
ooh,
I'll
ooh.
take. I'm gonna take pink for Phaedrian, actually. So I roll a pink dice for Phaedrian. All right, let's do it. Okay. Now I did the 2d6. The circle move. That's all. I don't have any other bonuses. Just the 1 to wild, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that is a 5.
A 5. Okay, so that means
I love a miss.
we love a mess. That means, yeah. So that means you're unsure. You're not, you haven't quite heard of these objects before. You don't know, um, like where they are, but you know, even on a miss, that there are people you could talk to that would know more. So, for instance, your pack leader, Klaus Steelclaw, might have some information,
Okay.
and you also feel like you've heard of these objects before at pack meetings,
Hmm.
but we're just not paying attention, not just sort of doing your own thing. And yeah, you're like, I think I know, but I need to double check
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
hearing that from Phaedrian.
They'll probably is the person that if you're on a Zoom meeting kind of thing, they're sort of like cameras off. Oh, I'm here, but they're really like not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Okay. Well, I don't really know. Look, I've heard of some of these words like triggering something for me. I feel like, but not really sure. I think I could hit the streets and get some info. Probably. I'm pretty sure some of my pack might know.
Sorry, my beauty is so great that even when cameras upon me, they fall over.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. You know how many times I've
I'm
had to
camera
take my
phoning you. This is a live actual.
yeah.
yeah. I've had to take my phone to the mall to that guy in the mall to like get the screen fixed so many times after you try to take a selfie on it. It's crazy.
Yeah. But okay, here you go. I got it kind of steady now. All right. I
Love that that's canon now.
Yeah. All right. So if you hit the
Cool.
streets, I think I might know somewhere to go. See what you can find out. I'm gonna head to some wizards and see if they got some of that root for me.
All right,
You,
hey, and let me know if it's like a part of a dude. I'm just really curious, cause I don't know. Some of this magic shit is weird.
I mean, I'm really hoping not. It's wild. I mean, I hope it's not that wild, but
I mean, I hope not, but I mean, consent at least.
exactly.
Anyway,
I'll
all
let you know.
right, curious.
Be safe out there.
Oh, hey, how was your show, by the way?
Oh,
I wasn't gonna ask, cause like it's always amazing, but it's polite.
I mean, I released the new song, the one I was working on.
That's cool. All right.
Mm,
But like the one that you showed me before you released it though? That one?
yeah.
Alright, cool.
The
What
one
was the
that's
song?
the name of the song was Midnight Crescent Moon.
Oh, it
Yeah.
wasn't Down the Phase Road.
No, that came out already.
Oh, that was last album's
Mhm.
hit. Okay.
This one's a
But it's a
moon.
hit, everybody asks for it.
And I definitely think that you might have recognized something from the Midnight Crescent Moon.
Yeah. Yeah, that was that's the one I told you felt really familiar, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You're gonna have to tell me about this sometime. Like, I don't know. We don't really have too much time about it, I guess, right now, but yeah, I do want to get into that because that felt weird. Like, yeah.
Never you mind, never you mind. I promise I'll tell you my muse, my Persephone one day, but you just be safe out there while you're hitting the streets.
Hey, you should tell them. All right. Good talking to you.
Good talk.
All right.
You have a
So-
flip phone?
Okay. They have the new flip phones. Those new old flip
Oh
phones.
my god. I'm obsessed with the fact that Phaedrian has a flip phone.
Like a
Your
wizard
object
killer.
work? Chef's kiss. All right.
So funny.
Oh, did we? I missed it in my notes here, but Tears of Nyx, we had some info on that, or we don't yet?
I was gonna give
Not
you
sure yet.
info if you rolled at least a
Yeah.
hit on your streets.
cool.
So I'm gonna say that the Tears of Nyx and the other two, you've heard of them in your meetings. Both of them you've heard of, but you're
Okay.
like, they sound like
Incredible.
important artifacts, but I just didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
so you can go ahead and hit the streets. So you're gonna go. Are you gonna go speak with Klaus?
If I can, because it's in my territory. Oh, like, because I still gotta. Oh, I was gonna say that in canon. Oh, can I rewind and
Rewind,
be
rewind.
like, because in my head, but I got tripped up. I was gonna say, yeah, I still have to go like on my patrol. So while I'm at it, I'll check things out and stuff. Because I thought I've got comes with the territory. Kind like, does that work?
Yeah, please read it
Yeah.
out. Let's. Oh,
Incredible.
also, I should have done this at the. If you're actively patrolling your territory at the start of the game, roll with blood. On a 10 plus, your territory is secure and the trouble is at its minimum. Take one ongoing when you hit the streets in your territory. On a 7 to 9, trouble surface, your choice, along with an opportunity to address it. Or on a miss, if you aren't attending your territory, things go south. So let's roll first to see
Okay.
about that as you.
See, gotta
Um,
read the whole prompt.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Am I gonna roll my blood dice? I'm gonna roll my blood dice. I'm gonna do that in this one. Okay. One of these. Let's go. Okay. It's not bad at all. All right. Let's see. 6 plus. So 9.
Oh, and 9.
So I
Okay.
missed. I missed it by 1.
Almost. Yeah. So close.
Yeah.
Um,
Close.
So you have one of your trouble surfaces. So your troubles are that you it's plagued by your supernatural. So some additional hauntings are popping up right now, and you along with an opportunity to address it. So it's not too bad.
Yeah.
We'll say it's sort of like a routine, more than a routine because you have to go deal with something. But Klaus, you know what? I want to wind all the way back. We're going
Okay.
to rewind back and we are going to say that Delaney, you were at the show because it was Phaedrian's
Oh.
first Madison Square Garden show. So you were actually in his backstage waiting room, and when he walked through, you're like, the fuck? Like, you were brought into the Fey realm, and she looks at you during that conversation and was just like, you will help him.
Oh.
And addressed you in that moment. And now, since you've been away, not patrolling, you get the call from Klaus, and he says, hey, there's some trouble afoot. I need to talk to you. And you're like, perfect
Okay.
timing. Do
Okay.
we like that fiction?
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Or
And I will even say, Delaney, Titania said you will help him as a as like a demand, but that's a debt.
Yeah.
She's requesting you. She's technically requesting you. So write down Titania owes you a debt for uh for assisting Phaedrian.
I will take that. That's cool.
Love it. And then roll
Okay.
me your blood for comes with the
Great.
territory.
All right. Let's do it. Oh, okay. That's better, actually. Okay. So that's exactly a 10.
Love it. Okay,
Cool.
so your territory is secure and your trouble is at a minimum, and you get to take a +1 ongoing when you hit the streets in your territory. Perfect. And now you're gonna go. So you get the call from Klaus. We thought the haunts were this, the ghosts were riling up, but might be a low level haunting. But you better come check in with us.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
I'll see you at the corner shop.
yeah.
I'll see you at the
Yeah.
corner shop. I should pick a different voice.
Oh, it's okay if he sounds like that. He's cool. It's whatever. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I'll meet you over there. Like Adelaide's cupcake shop or just like the bodega?
Oh yeah, no, Adelaide's cupcake shop. I want to get one of her
Oh,
pink ones before we go on patrol.
you have such a sweet tooth. It's
Mm.
crazy. Sweetest tooth. Like, honestly, badass werewolf.
You
Can't get
get?
enough sugar. It's so weird.
Can I get you one tonight? Are you still not sure?
I'm not. Look, these abs don't make themselves. I can't do that.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All
All right.
right,
Well, I'll be there. Yeah. I'm
see ya.
almost. I actually have something to ask you, so it's perfect.
Awesome.
All right. Cool.
And since you're in Madison Square Garden, even though I live in New Jersey and I'm close, I don't know. We're gonna say you're in Midtown. You're near it.
Great.
You're probably
We fast travel.
fast travel 2 subway stops away, and you're there. So you're with Klaus now, and you also are there with some of your other pack members. You know, you usually go in a at least a small retinue. You never go with just two. So, but they're sort of minion people, so you can chat with him, and they respect your space. So he says, What did you say you want to talk about?"
Oh my god. You have a little.
"Oh, I'll save her later."
Okay. Well, yeah. So, my friend Pedro, my friend, well, the superstar. You know,
Who doesn't know
you know.
Phaedrian?
I know it's a dumb question, but I sometimes it's kind of actually fun to be like, hey, my friend Adrian, and they're like, Phaedrian, blah blah blah, and they get all crazy about it. It's
Yeah.
wild. I'm like, yeah, my friend. Anyway, well, so I like legit saw Titania tonight backstage. Not who I expected to see in the green room, let me tell you. But
The
she,
queen.
yeah, yeah, like
You are lucky
her.
to be in her presence.
I'm
Did she
lucky to be
speak with you?
alive, dude.
I bet.
Like
You
she
didn't.
doesn't super love me.
I was gonna say, did she? She didn't speak to you, did she?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, well, I hope
So,
I hope you're not in over our head because
ha.
you.
Well, listen.
Okay, what do you need? What do you need? Tell me, tell me.
I couldn't say no, and
Yeah,
plus this
of
means
correct.
I
Correct
won't.
answer.
Correct, correct. So anyway, so she wants us to recover these artifacts. I know Phaedrian has a lead, I think, on one of them, but I feel like you've, like, said some of these names before. Maybe you know. The Heartstone of Lysel and Tears of Nyx.
So
What? Not
you
the right reaction. No.
with the Hearthstone of Lysel, he sort of like nods. And then when you say the Tears of Nyx, he like laughs, belly laughs. Um,
Why are you laughing at me?
you definitely have not been paying attention.
Oh,
We
well, I
have
mean, I totally was
found
there.
quite a few awesome artifacts, and our pack's power has been expanded because of it. And currently, the Hearthstone of Lysel is in our possession. It's an ancient gemstone imbued with the lifeblood of a powerful Fey warrior from centuries ago. It was bestowed upon us, and it is locked in our vault beneath the cathedral because it enhances us. How do you think we're able to expand our borders and our patrols? This fell into our possession. I think some of those Fey during their gathering, I don't know what they're up to, but
Well,
they're getting sloppy. So
oh, oh, so can I have it?
we'll talk. Um,
Kind of feel
maybe.
like a ticking clock. I kind of think there might be a timeline on this because I think they need this for the consecration thing and making sure.
Ooh, do you think so? I'll tell you what. Those wizards, they've been treating us like second-class citizens and dogs
Yeah,
for years.
yeah,
The Fae need them, and we don't have the magic that they do. But if we got the items that they require, can I entrust you to negotiate with Titania and maybe sweeten the deal for the pack? You
yeah. I mean,
nothing for free.
nothing
Delane
for free.
Dell, you know. This pack,
Look,
we've been
the
shattered.
Fae,
We're still
you know,
rebuilding. We need
yeah,
power.
yeah, yeah. No, we
Okay.
do. I'm just look, honestly, I'm not usually the most persuasive without being a little messy about it, but at the same time, I mean, look, the Fae
Well,
run on deals,
hey,
and
make a
this.
deal with Phaedrian. Have him be the one that speaks with Tanya on your behalf. Don't you owe him? Or don't he owe you?
I mean, yeah, we kind of owe each other a couple times over,
Mm, mm, mm,
but
mm.
either way, I mean, even if hey, we have the stuff that she needs. Oh, that must be why she was insistent. Maybe she knows that. She must know that, right?
She knows that.
Yeah.
Has to know that.
She was pretty insistent that I specifically was the one to help. So, but I
All
agreed
right.
to, so that means she owes me, right?
She he spits out. He like spits out. She tasked you with helping him.
Yeah. Why do you think I'm here? I mean, I know I like live here, but
Oh man.
yeah.
Faye's words bind them. She owes you.
All right.
She owes you. She owes you. They can hear you. You know that, right?
Oh,
When the,
good.
when
Because
debts
I've been
when
pretty careful about
debts
my words to make sure that they know. No, you're
yeah.
really fabulous. Which way do you look when you? I see you
He's
looking all around. It's like a whole
yeah.
thing. Eh,
All I'm saying, if she owes you, get us
yeah.
something. I will get you the Heartstone of Lysel. Consider it yours, but it is an artifact of power, and our our priestesses have been finding a way to help us, so it will be a loss. So make sure you get something worth it. And the
What do you
Tears of Nyx, sorry.
What do you think would be like a worthy trade? Like it's got to be something that gives us power, so we're not dependent on.
Hmm.
I
I
don't level the
mean,
playing field, right?
look, they got the ability to heal at a moment's notice. We get in some scraps lately, so maybe some artifacts of healing or a font of power, or who fucking knows what those Fae can do. Talk to Phaedrian, maybe he can think of something good. He's
Yeah.
uh he's been trying to stay here for a while. I know that they're been around for a while, so I think you might be able to get some info out of them about what will really
Yeah.
sweeten the pot. But it needs to benefit us all because you're a
Well, to
candidate
that,
for alpha.
come on. I'm a mess.
He like
I'm
punches
like a
your he
disaster
like
lesbian. I don't. You don't even. You can't like. They literally make RPGs about me. Like I'm not.
listen, I didn't say now. I said candidate in the future. I got this
Okay.
pack on my back for at least another decade or two. But
Well, good, because obviously, like,
listen, I need you strong and I need you well connected.
okay, yeah.
And listen, the Tears of Nyx, this is an I laughed so hard because it is an artifact of pure power coveted by Lucian Moravent. He is the supreme vampire lord and our mortal nemesis. It is one of the most prodigious and sought after pieces, or one of the most prestigious pieces in his collection. He flaunts this relic around as a sign of power and opulence. It is a small vial of liquid moonlight shed from the tears of an ancient moon spirit
What?
that who knows how he was able to capture, but it glows with such radiance and emits such power that just having it in his possession enhances him. Who knows what would happen if he ever to drink it, but no one has ever dared to take that from him.
Wait, it's on him?
Yes, or in his house, his
How did he
estate.
get that?
Why do you think I laugh so hard? It
Okay.
look. We'll put out some people in the pack to maybe scout the estate Maybe see if there's some deals we can dig to get an audience. But you might need to get your hands dirty, Dell. And we are already scraping the bottom of the barrel when it comes to getting an audience with the vamps. So I don't know.
All right.
Let me see what I can do with that one. But
Okay. Um. God. I mean, maybe Kai knows or has some connections. I mean, I know Kai still owes me a favor for keeping the sworn off of his bar. So I don't know. Maybe I can check with him. Maybe he's got some kind of connections. But if this is on it, I don't even. Okay. Yeah. Uh, shoot. Titania fucked me.
it sure looks like that. And
Not
he,
in the good way.
you wish.
I
Um,
do wish. I literally do.
um, he hands you a cup of coffee, or tea, whichever your drink of choice is, and
Oh yeah,
says,
coffee for
"Come
sure.
on, let's talk more about this.
All right.
I'm sure we can do it. And if you manage to pull this off, we are going to be top dog. Fuck them power, fuck them oracles. We are going to be at the side of the Fae. In fact, we might even
Yeah.
be standing over them."
Don't get too cocky. I thought you were the wise one.
Who told you that?
You.
Right.
All
Um,
right.
and he whistles for the rest of the pack, and you and the rest of the crew begin making your rounds around the street.
Oh,
Let's quickly fade back to Phaedrian. As Delaney left to go speak with her alpha and do her night patrols after reveling in this, you're still in this twilight of being so happy and so reveling in the glamour and like adoration of the crowd, and also now tasked so heavily with finding these items, and they're the last pieces. You know, the consecration is within a week. The harvest moon is fully waxing. It is past a crescent and almost there. The time is nigh upon us. How do you feel in this moment? What are you doing as you um leave this evening and prepare uh for the next week and the ritual?
Well, on the outside, I look calm as a cucumber. Of course, I will be. I am me after all, but on the inside, I am worried as fuck. This is this needs to go right. I have the Stardust Bowl happening where all of the stars are performing, and if I don't get this right, Tanya's gonna pull me back. Okay, I hope Baby Wolf finds what we're looking for, and I hope I can find it too. As my focus right now is to go to this little wizard for the wizard circle and see if I can meet up with Julius, who has his root.
Roll with me are as you are leaving. um yeah, roll me with your mortalis.
Hmm. Was that a negative for me?
I believe
No,
yours
it's a
is a
zero.
0.
That's better than a negative. Ooh, that's alright. Nice. That is a 9 plus 0, so 9.
A 9. Okay. So you actually, in this moment of hitting the streets, are able to um, meet him. But it says they're available and have it, but on a 7 to 9, you have to choose one. Whoever you're going to is juggling their own problems, or whatever you need is a little bit more costly than anticipated. So which of those are you choosing? Is
Oh,
it a little bit more troublesome or a little bit more costly?
It's more costly, I feel.
Okay. Um, in this moment, you feel the like as described, you feel this power and presence. You're trembling, and you call. You're leaving the stage with your entourage, and you're a superstar. You had someone get some. Either you had Julian's number or you got it from someone, and you call him. Brr, 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 brr. Hello. Who's
Julian.
this is Julian speaking. Um or sorry. This is Julius Velion the Third. Who's speaking and how did you get my number?
Julius, baby. You don't recognize me, this voice. This is Phaedrian.
And you hit video on and your FaceTime appears.
Mm.
You see Julius with his salt and pepper silver hair and his iconic black on black suit with ties, the pin of his first circle. He is, as you already know, um, a leader of the wizards and the power of Manhattan. He is the head um, of all of the wizards and witches that call Manhattan home. And he knows you. He's Phaedrian. I am so thankful and unsure how you got my number, but I was at your concert earlier today. I couldn't resist. I was in the box office cheering you on. What pleasure do I have? Not box office, box seats. You know what I meant.
I was like, he's selling tickets. I love this guy.
Yeah, not
Box
box office.
office.
Yeah, sorry. That's a Travis problem, not a not a Julius. Yeah, box seats. He's in the high roller section. How he says I was with some influential people in the the box seats.
Look, I'm obsessed, okay?
What? Well,
My
pleasure.
head canon. That's happening.
In another universe, you see
Yeah,
him standing
yeah.
behind the
Tickets.
ticket. But here he says, "What pleasure do I have to hear your voice?"
Of course, you could only be so lucky, but here you are. And first of all, thank you for coming to my show. And I thought I saw you up there when I was singing "Whisper in Touch." You saw I was looking at you, weren't you?
Of course.
Well, I have something to ask you. You know that there is a little ceremony happening soon with Queen Titania. Know that you are teaming up with us Fae.
Yes. Is there been any issues that I should be made aware of?
Oh, no issues at all. Don't you worry. But I am looking for something. It's the root of the elder tree. I was told that you might have in your possession and to come pick it up tonight, preferably.
Hmm. Yes, I do have that. He thinks for a moment. Yes, please come to blah, 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 library. One of my hold on, and he gives you a name. He says, um, Eleanor, my youngest sister, will meet you there. This is one of the gifts Titania has provided us some time ago. It's the anchor and the catalyst for the ritual. I have been watching over it, but not many people knew I had it, so I'm assuming you've heard this from the Queen?
Hmm. Indeed, I have.
All right. Please go to the location. Ping you the map's location. Please go there tonight, and my sister Eleanor, I will alert her to your presence, and you can pick up the item.
Pleasure doing business with you. And how about I give you front row, more box seats for my next show on the house.
I cannot wait. I am so excited, and congratulations on selling out Madison Square Garden this evening. It is quite a feat.
Next stop, the Stardust Bowl.
Ooh, that's pretty prestigious. I have tickets myself, so I can't wait to see you perform. I didn't see your name on the lineup, though.
Oh, of course they're going to keep a surprise on their guest performance, their special performance. Shh, don't tell anyone, though. It's a secret. You'll see me there.
Oh, I love a guest. I love a secret guest. Pleasure, Phaedrian. I must go now, though. I will ensure that Eleanor's waiting for you, and please give my regards to Titania.
I will. Good night, Sugar Plum.
Boop. And just as you fade to black, Phaedrian, as you flip your flip phone closed, just like your screen went black, so does he.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. And now you know. And now you have leads on all of the items now requested. With that in mind, I wish I had a more of a cliffhanger. I'm trying to think of something super good, but I feel like this is a good spot to stop. I feel like because we're approaching our time and we have a little bit of wrap ups to do. So, how do we feel about this? So, Delaney, you have a secured one and an idea for another. Phaedrian, you have secured one as well with some complications, and we'll see how you guys spend this next week in preparation, because the ritual, we'll say that this is a Sunday concert, like you blew out the sun, or Saturday, and next Saturday is the consecration. So within 1 week's time, you have to get the vial. That's the cliffhanger. How are you going to get the
That's
vial of
exactly what I was
Nyx?
gonna say. That is a cliffhanger.
How are you going to get the tears of Nyx off
Yeah.
of
Literally,
Lord
yeah. I
Mathis
mean,
Verdek?
we were thinking, hey, look, it just seemed too good to be true. Like, I literally already have the thing. Great. And oh, you could just talk to this silver fox who, sells tickets on his off days. But no, just kidding. Although now I am gonna give him shit because he did. I didn't see it, but if I was there, I'd be pissed. He's like, I didn't see you on the lineup.
Yeah, shade.
You did not give shade to my girl. No.
Yeah, he did.
Oh
yeah,
my
he
goodness.
did.
I was like, oh.
I didn't see you on the
know.
lineup. I'm like, yeah, I didn't see you either. You were in the box office.
So funny. So
but yeah, that's gonna be the thing, to get, like, for us to come together and figure out how to get this artifact off of a boss vampire.
Yes, I'm
Mhm.
excited. Oh my goodness.
Woo!
Yes.
That's gonna be
absolutely.
all next session. That's gonna be
That's
the
gonna
whole thing.
be getting all next session, and then seeing if we might. Yeah, you're right. Getting it from him, and making sure if we have the objects for the ritual secured and protected.
And whatever else is coming at us,
Yeah.
hunters, ghosties,
Mhm.
stupid sworn paladin fools.
Absolutely.
I plan on
I
pulling
don't
on these debts. Some of these people, Anushka is gonna get us. Remember, Anushka owes us so much. We're gonna be using her to get us.
Yeah, you better go
connections
get
with people.
Those people to help supply you for this mission, and
Mhm.
go run cover for them. So at the end of session, we actually get to do a few things. So you get to, for every time you got used your because we want to advance, because advancing is how we get cool new abilities and things. And to advance, you have to do some certain things, and I believe you both did a few of them. I'm sorry, I'm pulling it up on my tablet right here. You every time you interact with a circle, if you do your corruption move, or if you uh, we did cash in some debts, so we might have the ability to potentially advance, which will give you more options. Um, One of the things we also do is say, who did we interact with today? Um, so we choose Mortalis, Night, Power, or Wild, and we will move one of those up and one of those down. So, Delaney, what two factions have you interacted with today? And describe how you want to go have one go up and go down.
So I know I interacted with Wild Knight. I think just Wild and Knight, right?
Um,
Did I interact with?
Not with Power yet, no, and
And
not really with Mortalis.
no, yeah, just Power and Knight. So I mean, sorry, the other one, Wild and Knight. So one goes up, one goes down.
I mean, you technically could say, since you did your comes with your territory and you rolled very well on that when you were patrolling and hitting the streets, I would say that like you interacted with Mortalis and you didn't run into any issues. So there you didn't run into like ghosts or anything, but random people and stuff. So we'll say we'll add that third one to your list if you want as a choice.
Okay,
Because that feels like narratively like something that you would have done if we had a little more time or could have
okay.
done. So of
Um,
those, you choose.
I think you know what? I'm gonna lean in hard to this with Klaus saying like you're sort of in line to be alpha, and as much as I joke and I scoffed about it, I think we're gonna put Mortalis down and Knight up one.
All right. So mark that. So your Mortalis will go to 0 and your Knight will go to 2.
Cool.
And then you also get to check one of those boxes. So before you make that choice, though, this is what I wanted to pull up. When you mark all 4 of your circles, you get to, it means you've earned the respect and made some reputation, or you've interacted with all 4 of the powers, and you get to advance. So on the far right of our character sheets, those are the advancements that we were talking about. So a plus a
Cool.
status, maybe a new move. So that's what we're trying to get you today too. So to trigger like interacting, you can, when you make a circle move, or you make a city move except tending your business, or trigger an intimacy or cash in a debt. So you triggered circle moves. So you hit the street with because where is it? Our circle moves is hit the
Knight.
streets and study a place of power. So you get to actually mark off the wild for when you were studying the objects,
Okay.
and then your other one was the night.
Oops. Wrong one. Okay.
So you already have 2. So, um, since you Knight and Mortalis were the ones that you went up and down, you also now have the option of marking Mortalis as well.
Oh.
Because those 2 came for each were triggered when you did marking a circle, and this is your end of game get to move.
Okay.
Let's also see, did you potentially trigger your intimacy move today?
Mine is. Oh wait, hold on. I
With
have it
another
on a sheet, but I don't have it on there. So let
It's
me pull up
right
my thing.
on the tracker. It's
Mine
underneath
is.
your.
Oh, was it? Okay. When you share a moment of intimacy, physical or emotional, with another person, you create a primal bond with them until time passes. You both always know where to find each other. Um,
Do
I
we feel
don't
like
know.
that?
I mean, it's hard to tell. I don't know if I triggered it like a true moment of intimacy, although it's hard to tell with Delaney because there's such a wall up.
Okay. We'll
M-
say.
Maybe, but it would have either been like I joked with Phaedrian, but I don't know if that was really a true moment of intimacy. And kind of I literally evaded talking about something real with Phaedrian with
So
like
then,
the song.
we'll say We'll say no. We'll say that we didn't trigger it this time. Or
Okay.
you think that's fair?
Yeah, because the only other thing it would have been was like kind of connecting with Klaus and talking about like the pack. And that's
Okay.
not, I feel like that's kind of a everyday kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
don't
then
think.
yeah, and then you're cashing in a debt or honor a debt. We did not do that. We did not lend a hand or get in the way just yet either.
Mhm.
So you're super close. So next time you need to interact with the power, like Julius, and this can happen midstream. So as soon as you do that interaction, we'll check that box and take a pause, and you'll get to pick an advancement. So this most likely will happen next session, and you'll get to choose one of those things. So awesome.
Cool.
Let's do the same thing now for Phaedrian.
Howdy.
What
So
yeah, what
I
circles you did two circle moves as well.
correct. No, I did one circle move.
Oh, you did one circle move, and that was with
Me
your
finding out what the items were.
yeah. No, your second one was then
What?
technically going to go
Hit the
speak with
streets with
Julius.
Julius.
Oh, that would be like a hit the streaks. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
one gives you power.
Hmm.
So then what two circles did you interact with today, and how would you like them to go up or down?
I would say I interacted with Mortalis and I'm switching in between my character's voice.
I know,
I
right?
know. I did Mortalis, and I would say I did. You know what? Night.
I mean, I'm Knight. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say Night. Mortalis because I was singing to the crowd
yeah,
and connecting with the people, and Night because of course Baby Wolf.
yeah. All right. So then,
And I'm going to bring down Mortalis to a -1, and I'll explain why. And bring Night up to a 0. And because every time Madison Square Garden was a very powerful, like I mean, very I'm sorry, like it was the best I've done so far solely on Madison Square Garden. So I had to make sure this did not mess up, and I gave in to the pressures and relied a little bit on Queen Titania's blessing, invoking my corruption, let's say, which is anytime I do something with heart, I take a corruption, and I feel like I was really definitely diving into the magic to make everyone love me because I didn't trust myself just to play on
okay,
why,
yeah,
and because of then I was just not connecting with the humans the way I want to. I was relying on foreign powers. But in any case, that's like kind of behind the scenes. And then Night I raised up because obviously.
awesome. Okay, so it looks like you two also have 3-box checks as well. So you need to interact with Mortalis to trigger your advancement next session, and you two also will be able to either up a one of your stats, pick another Fey move, or pick even another move from another archetype. So check them out, and maybe there's something interesting you want to quickly throw in, because we will most likely have you interacting with the various people. You all know what's in store. Well, you don't know what's in store. You know what's plotted and how the
Mhm.
story will thicken.
Very cool.
All right, absolutely. So that I believe is our end of session moves for updating our character trackers and how we change. So now I would like to do one last thing as we quickly wrap up our session. I
Oh,
know
wait,
we're
did my
just
intimacy move?
oh, did you? Yeah, did you trigger your intimacy move? Please read it out.
Let's see. When you share a moment of intimacy, physical, emotional with another person, demand a promise from them. If they refuse you or break the promise, they owe you a debt. Hmm.
Did you feel like you would have triggered that? We could rewind back to a moment.
No. You know what? I will say I probably did not, but let's say I did. I was so intimate with the fans that I kind of like cast like a spell over everyone there, and just to love me. And that's the kind of like the dark fairy magic that I did not want to use,
Okay.
tapping into
Yeah.
my what is it called? In our blood almost. So it wasn't like actual
Okay.
thing, but yeah. But and honestly, no, I don't think I triggered it in any other
We'll
way.
say Yeah, we'll say that you didn't share a moment with an individual, but you shared a moment of intimacy with the crowd, and the crowd as a personification of a person you demanded adoration from them, and they did not refuse you. They promised to give you adoration as the house was sold out, the lights were blinding, the claps were deafening. You got your you got what you requested in that moment. Okay, so that doesn't trigger then, so we can close up our session. I know we're slightly over, so let's do our stars and wishes really quickly. So let's do as many stars as you want, and as many wishes as you want, and just do them together, and then I'll close us out. Or and stars, wishes, and socials if you want to promote yourself. So let's start with you, Delaney. Or actually, let me take from some of my master Magpie GMs, and let's bring us back to whom we really are. So, Marie, delightfully divergent. What did you love about today's session? Can you give me
Oh my
your stars
goodness.
and wishes, and your socials?
Yeah. Um, just trying to rapid fire. It's like I feel like so much happened, even though like it was a short gaming time, but we built so much together before jumping in. So I was like, "Bleh." um, trying to rapid fire through this. I mean, aside from the flip phone, like I did love the flip phone. That was pretty great. No, I'm sort of obsessed with Phaedron. I love their dripping confidence. They just drip confidence. And I'm like, yes. We all need that. We all need more of that. So it's so great. I think I will say for this session, my star, especially because we built so much ahead of time, was the weird juxtaposition of Phaedrian and Dell. Like Dell is this dark and edgy and like doesn't want to show their emotions, and they're pretty heavy inside. Like there's a lot of shit there. And then there's like Phaedrian who's just truly shining. Literally, figuratively, everything. And I just kind of love that they have this friendship that doesn't make sense on paper and totally works in reality. So that's gonna be my star.
Fantastic. Do you have a wish for next time?
Um, yeah, I hope I get to transform and get vicious.
Oh,
I think that'll be fun.
absolutely.
I'm gonna get messy.
Oh, I love it. Ooh, pardon me.
And I hope that we also still have moments to like actual like have real connection, because I definitely established this character as kind of a parable of like dealing with anxiety as someone who personally deals with anxiety and invisible illnesses like chronic pain and stuff. I thought it'd be so cool to play a wolf and sort of use that to to kind of explore those those themes that are.
Express those, yeah, feelings.
Yeah,
I
yeah. So
love
I
it.
I love the idea of having someone who like Tail Weaver, you're incredible, and Adrian is going to break down Dell's walls, and I love that. So I feel like that works really well. So
Abs-
that's my other wish.
Absolutely. And last but not least, your socials and any projects you have or do.
Oh yes, Divergent Dryad, or Divergent underscore Dryad, wherever I've been able to find it. Discord, Twitch, I think Instagram's that too. It might not be yet. But anyway, I run a little Discord server called Misfit Manor where it's focused on accessibility and inclusivity in gaming. We do TTRPGs across many, many different systems. Um, I am a, queer, disabled, neurodivergent, neurospicy person. And I thought it would be cool to create like a server dedicated to that so people can feel free to express their needs and also explore what their needs are because we don't always know. So that's kind of what it does.
Thank you.
Everyone's welcome. More
Thank you so
misfits.
much. I love that so much, and I'm so thankful to have you here, and I'm so thankful to be part of the Misfit Manor now too.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And our Tail Weaver, our resident uh, story weaver himself, please let us. Why are we gagging? He gives it to us every time. Come on, take us home.
Sure, sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Tail Weaver. Well, or aka Omar, or Omar, aka Tail Weaver. You can find me out. I'm getting all my socials together. It's Tail Weaver Omar, all one word. That was the only one that wasn't taken, and I like it. It's my name and basically the persona I love to go by. So you can find me there shortly, slowly but surely, as I just updated my Instagram. I think I did my B Sky, and X might be, or Twitter. Should be next, but you can find me on there as well. But I do also cosplay and that I make, and of course you can find me everywhere. Tale of D20s at www.taleof20s.com, or at a tale of D20s on all socials. For my star, I would definitely say I thought that like a moment that was super fun was really like creating the characters together and bouncing off. It was so much fun to do the character creation. I found that so spectacular, all three of us building it together. I love the dichotomy between Phaedrian and am I flubbing my words? Delaney. I kept trying to say Delaney, and I'm like, no, it was Delaney. Sorry.
Delaney. Delaney.
Delaney. I think that that should. I can't wait to dive into that, as that kind of bleeds into my wish, which is that my wish is to see like that heart touching moment where both we see Phaedrian aiding Delaney in their own like journey through self-acceptance and that anxiety, but as well as their own, because just like I feel like I put a part of me into Phaedrian, especially with his identity, how he feels very fluid as I do, and I use any pronouns as do they, and like I wanted to really just kind of put myself into there and like be like more of like a persona I've always felt myself I had inside. So just like a cool, suave, flamboyant person. So I'm really, really excited to dive into the character and deal with this entire mess with the backdrop of Manhattan and the fairies and everything like that. With this dynamic duo, this is totally like a CW sitcom or something. I could see it
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, everything's in lo-fi coloring.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much for that. I feel the same way too. I'm gonna give out my stars and wishes too. My stars goes to both of you. Thank you so much. We're both stars for diving in and jumping into this. I will say, I was a little nervous with just two people because we were meant to have more, but because of schedules and just complications, I only had you two, and you guys were rock stars. This feels so awesome. Like Omar just said, it feels like a CW show, and I love it. I love what we've built together, and I'm so thankful that you both were so understanding and fluid and built this world together. And I'm just so excited and glad that you are too. I hope that you're excited for next week, and as excited as I am to sort of see how this wraps up. And my wishes are to make sure that you guys are happy and have fun and see what the story says. So we will get that vicious transformation and a fight scene, and we will also cry about it after and
Nice.
We'll
have
cry
those
about it.
and have those heart-touching moments. So thank you so much. Thank you both so much for that, and thank you all for being here for us as we built our characters and we went through all of our lines and veils and safety tools. We went through our character creation here. We built our wolf, Dell. We built our Phaedrian, and it's been a blast. I hope you all are excited for the consecration to come and the antics of these two trying to get the tears of Nyx from the ancient vampire, whom hates them. So let's see how that goes. And last but not least, again, this is a charity stream for the Trevor Project. Thank you, everyone who has donated to us today and all throughout. And we are more than halfway to our goal of raising $1,000 by the end of this year. Again, Vadina, thank you for your donation earlier today. And it's going to a wonderful cause. Type Magpie Madness for a chance to win. You'll get you will get announced as the winner next Friday, and I can't wait for you to be there. And check out some of our other streams. We have lots of awesome shows coming out for the rest of the month. So, as our Tailweaver said, www.ataleofd20s.com/events for the calendar. With that, I think we're all done here today. So, as we sign off here at A Tale of D20s, from the first chapter to the last page, spread love, be kind, and goodbye, everybody.